Bentar lur, halo. Ngelek ya? Sebentar. Halo, yang bener. Yang bener sampai buka iya. Kayaknya, gak tahu. Kita lihat nanti. Selamat siang. Oh, nonton VCT juga nanti palingnya. Udah lama lagi nggak ini. Nggak main story Honkai. Akun ini. Ada City Pacific. Nanti jam berapa 3 ya? Nobar nggak sih nobar? Aduh, puzzle. Nangis. Lupa lagi caranya. Nangis. Ini apa? Mesti kemana sih? Alamak. Ke bawah. Nah, gimana cara ke bawah? Kayak gue offline udah nyoba ini tapi menyerah deh. Gimana cara ke bawah? Ini game kedengeran kan ya? Gak perlu gedein suara gamenya. Ah. Nah lo ini apa? Ke bawah tuh? Situ. Oh, ini apa? Men. Clerk mau rebahan. Siap. Siap kisi, mat rebahan. Terus kemana? Situ. Lewat. Cara ini bisa kelihatan gimana? Ada lampu yang bisa ke sini. Let me try. Oh, naik dia? Oh, oke. Ini bisa kah? Oh, ke sini. Oke. Terus yang itu? Bisa ke sana? Oh, bisa. Oke, 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 oke. Nah, terus gue ke sana gimana? Terus gue nyangkut. Oh. Tapi saya nyangkut. Bisa teleport kemana nggak? Where am I? Where am I? Sumpah bingung. Tadi ini ya? Ke situ. Terus putar otak. Ini tadi bisa ke depan sana. Oh enggak, sini doang. Ada lagi gak sih? Dua ini doang. Ya gue gak bisa lewat ke sana. Ada cara lain kah? Supaya bisa ke sana. Asli. Udah bener. Cuma ini doang. Nah, itu kan jadi bisa kan? Gue harus ke sana. Ish. Murah. TP kali ya, coba. Hilang nggak nih? Reset. Terus gimana sih? Gue bingung sendiri. Coba kesini. Lah jauh banget ya. Gimana sih? Ini apa? Ini mah yang kemarin. Oh ini. Membingungkan. Nah, oke. Bisa ke... Nggak bisa. Oh. Ada buku kan ya somewhere nanti. Oh iya, semoga bisa. Semoga bisa. Semoga bisa. Kalau nggak bisa, aku nyerah. Yes. Yes. Ambil ini dulu. Anjir lah cara bodoh aja TP keluar. Terus bisa, oke. Itu apa? Bersihin. Terus itu ada chest. Hyper carry. Udah bisa. Yo, that fish. Try to reach where meme is. Mantul. Bawah. Lewat situ. Apakah iya bisa? Ah bisa, let's go. Pinter banget gak sih? Apa tuh? Sebentar. Mem, kamu berisik. Terus stacknya apa ya? Gue full karakter tapi nggak ngerti dia ngapain. Ya, gue baca. Skip. Siapa yang peduli cerita? Tidak. Torian. Global pasif itu apa sih yang kemarin dikasih tahu di live stream ya? Siapapun yang ngerti, saya jelasin kah? Basic biasa, apa HP kan? HP scaling, HP saturation, satu. Apa beda dua ini? Wah, ada 3. Oh, talent dulu ya. For each 1%. Oh, ini ya charge ya. Reach 100, consume 100, enter. Oh. Advanced action, buset. Dia advanced. Tim gue berarti advanced action semua. Max HP increase 50%. Oh, wih tanky sekali. Terus 50. Iya. Kamu baru bangun kamu gak? Iya. Aku bangunnya kesiangan. Makanya judulnya eepy. Karena hari ini saya low energy. Ngantuk. Baru aja judul. Maaf ya. Makanya diajak ngobrol biar nggak ngantuk. Earth and water. Kebanyakan baca. Cuci muka dulu juga. Udah mandi. Cuci muka udah mandi. Tetap aja. Cuci. Sorry. Gak mau, males. Teknik. Nggak ngerti. Tetap. Udahlah. Yang penting kamu di PS. Ini kemana? Ini. Plot twist banget. Malas aja sih muka jadi water aja. Enggak lah. Siapa yang kayak gitu? Itu bang borak doang tuh. Offer the remaining fires. Atas lagi sih? Terus kemana? Wow. Balik lagi ke pintu. Oh, sini bisa. Lah, ini mah secret area. Oh, situ lewat. Oh, aku tahu. Kayak mungkin nanti nonton VCT mungkin akan terbangun. Kok di sini lurk aja nggak apa-apa ya sih? Nggak apa-apa. Makasih loh. Ah, kemana? Maaf, streamernya membingungkan. I mean, lagi bingung sama gamenya. VCT, iya. Kenapa jadi ke atas lagi gue? Bentar. Oh, ganti kan ya? Terus? Bah, nyangkut gue. Gak bisa kesini, gak bisa. Berarti... Mana tadi? Lah, cara ke situ gimana? Ini tutup pintu ya? Gak bisa. Bingung. Oh, coba deh ke atas sini. Lah, sama aja ya sama tadi. Oh. Bentok. Tadi gimana sih? Oh, ini ya, pindah-pindahin ini ya. Ini terus. Oke. Ribet. I don't wanna go here anymore. Semoga semua chest udah diambil. Terus pindahin lagi ke dalam. Terus turun. Ya sih. Ah, gimana sih? Ini ganti jadi pagi. Oh ya, harusnya gini. Aha. Oke, ya ampun, ternyata harus lewat tangga itu. Door needs to be open. Oke. Siap. Get me out of here. Story panjang banget sih. Huh? Huh? Sorry, but I'm skipping. Oh, dia suruh kesini.
残り火を手に入れたようだな。そこまで来ればあとは
大丈夫です。うまくいった。道が出てきたぞ。あら、超 が羽ばたくを。
タイタン。
ここを離れ当然ただもし西の風にさらばだ。
カリプソ
さ
さん、
らばだ。
これは一体。
そなたたちの助力に感謝する。
では担当直入に言います。
やれやれ、いつ我の正体が見抜
試練と言いつつ連職学派を率いて、
ならば
まさかサーシスが。それに発言には根拠が必要。これこそ私が呪帝で学んでいた頃に得た貴重な教訓です。
いいだろう。死の境でこれほど生の望みを見出せるとは。運命とは実に奥深く難解なものだな。
それではなぜここまで手間をかけた謎を用意したのか教えていただけますよね。
Bentar lagi AFK.
理由なら簡単だろう。我は助けが欲しかった。
その脅威と。
まさにそうだが、我は奴。ああ、
Lama.
最後の一つ。
スキッ
なんですって。
Skip.
特にそのようなことを思いつ
Skip button doko.
そして
でも
ただそなたたちには
Halo Kai.
禁止の誓いを
Gimana? Hongkainya udah story udah belum? Hai.
任せたぞ。人の子らよ、
Zoom.
幸運を祈る。
Idenya udah di build belum?
苦戦は避けられないようですね。
Harusnya udah sih ya.
僕が守ってあげるから。
Dasar yang di joki. Sama sih. Gue juga. Tapi kan story-nya gue gak di joki.
そしてリオちゃんどうか。
Malesin banget. Infokan story joki.
アナイクス先生。
Don't care, don't care, don't care. Iya. Joki berbayar. Iya, gak apa-apa Joki berbayar. Emang kenapa? Anaksa! Are we gonna meet Anaksa? Oh my god.
Sarsis の言った通りで。
Oh,
あの黒いマントのあいつはミュウメミミュミュミュミミミュ
kenapa Mem?
ミミミミミミミュミュミュミミ。
Apakah Mem sebenarnya true formnya waifu?
皆さん準備はいいですか。あれ黒い剣とマント、あの布の持ち主でありタナトスの死の霧を。
安心引け。
Oh,
さ
betul?
もなくば CR のみ。
Nikete. Mem ngomong. Trial casteris gak sih?
守るだ。僕は勇敢なんだ。
Trial tribi gak sih?
あの
Mister,
今回ばかりは死が私たちを守って。
Lebaran besok ya? Iya ya. Oh, cutscene.
来ます。
Lebaran besok insya Allah. Oh, not the baby. Auto bisa auto. No, nggak bisa nih.
なのです。
Bisa. Nggak bisa. Iya. Hangat.
かくれんぼしよ答え見つけてごらん。
Auto dulu.
深淵へ今和の魂よ死を受け入れよ
Weaknessnya beda banget sama si gue. Tidak. Oh, dia langsung turn gitu.
感謝しよ
Harusnya ini di tengah ya.
動じないで。
深淵へ
Langsung turn gitu loh. Gak gue klik. Dia ngapain? I see. Ini udah 100. Terus dia langsung gerak sendiri gitu. Oh.
導こ
Perlu heal gak sih?
う感謝しよ
Ngapain ulti ya? Biar heal sendiri.
受け入れよ
Ini mereka gak punya weakness. Ulang gak sih? Ntar ya. Change lineup. Nah. Sumpah. Ini lama ntar. Nice. Semoga lebih lancar.
一体何者なのです。
Lah cuma ice doang ya? Nggak ada imaginary. Lupa gue.
まとめてかかってきていらぬごま
遊んであげるよ全てを失うかはたまた手に入れるか
ふっと私が誰だかこんな大きなダイヤ
Tetap
モンド
banget ya.
あげるね。
Anjingnya nih.
サーシさんの言っていた通りですね。
Kalau lama. Ganti tim lagi.
好奇心を聞き答
Bisa auto loh. Tega banget.
えいらぬごま夢中になっちゃう。 感謝してね。ふっふっ
Oh?
いけない。
Mati. Halo Ki. Oh emang gini. Setelah gue flat banget ya story-nya, kayaknya orang udah pada sampai mana. Kenapa enggak? Kenapa?
一撃では無理かそなたただものではないな
Wow. The hell? Oh, thank you udah dikasih nyawa lagi. Ini bukannya pemain CS Ki?
もう気はない
アナイクス先生。
Profesor. Betul. Oh, sudah selesai. Sekali segame dah. Atau masih main?
いらぬごま崩れちゃ
Oh, bisa deh. Oke. Masih main. Oh
う。
alah.
何見てるの。
愛
Good
は
luck,
投
good
げら
luck.
れた全てを失うかはたまた手に入れるか
Nggak mungkin segampang ini.
気をつけて
もう身が持たん
Itu apa tadi? Global pasif apa sih global pasif? Tolong jelaskan. Ini apa lagi? Kayak ada. Hah? Ini apa? After attacking, oh, bisa restore.
思考は広がってなんか変だ。みんな気をつけて。
Masa? Oh iya, keren banget tuh bisa punya farm nih. Oh, Tebi.
Hmm. 一時はどうなることかと思いましたが、無事奥平間に戻ってこられて本当に良かったですね。
Oke, belum. Masih lagi interview sampai jam 3 gitu ya dia. Udah live tapi belum matchnya.
キャス
Oke,
ちゃ
oke,
ん、
oke.
僕まだごめん。
Kasian.
もういいえ、トリアン様。僕気分。トリアン様。
想像しい。奥平間は相変わらずですね。
Oh my god, suaranya.
今は
Suaranya
構えないでください。
KV.
あのタイタンは沈黙しました。今は地種学派の穴草ゴラス。
その名乗り方。
Suara Uchida Yuma.
先生、率直に。
予想通りですね。
お
それで任務の成果として。
それが私の務めですから。
わかりました。ただその前に。
それは
私の予想では呪帝の同僚たちは火種を守るために暗黒の潮と戦い犠牲になりました。彼
アグライア様の
余計なことをせず私を止めますか。
いえ、私。
行きましょう。
先生、もうかなり経ちますが、やはり
Masih lama kah?
ライア様とは。
私もあれも
Send
器
condolences.
の小さい人間ではありません。対立の原因。
あら、こんにちは。
こんにちは。突然すみません。私の記憶が正しければあなたは。
ええ、そうですけど。
奥様。
それで。え。
はい。彼は命と。
そうですか。奥様、私たちにできることがあれば。私はクレムのス人ですから、叱りにこす。大丈夫。
すみません。
謝る必要はありません。かつて戦士だった私も、そして今、クレムノスに新たな王が誕生しようとしている。
こんにちは。このフェーベルジーに何か用かね。
すみません。あなたはキュナネとアルタカマのお父様ですか。
お、そうじゃが。おっといかん。どうしたんじゃ黙り込ん。もしあの子たちが謝ろう。
どうしましょう。
フェーベルさん。彼女たちは呪帝。私は呪帝に駐留。
Son story. Please get me out of here.
なんか用か。今忙しいんだ。
ティトゥスさん、少しで。
あれ、今日ストリスソン。
ティトゥス、落ち着いて聞いてくださ
Ini
い。
model gue ngeblok.
私は真吾の呪帝の
Ada yang
穴草
peduli
の
juga
父
gak sih?
上
Gak kan?
と少し前に亡くなりました。
Ngeblok teksnya.
なんだって。
Titus namanya.
ずっと前から言ってたんだ。何度も喧嘩して。いつか気が変わった時、頑固親父。
終わりにしましょう。私が把握している同僚の遺族はこれで全員です。
お二人ともお疲れ様で。
では。
はい。
Semoga luck gue di Anaksa sama seperti luck gue di Mayday. Dapat early weapon dan early character. Hihihi. Oh, sini. Ih, nge-lag selalu di tiap tempat ini. Kayak patah-patah. Ya, ada sesuatu nih. Air, of course. Load. Ya, ke atas. Bilang dong, gue TP aja. Dari tadi.
お二人ともお戻りになったのですね。
こんにちは。アグライア様に会いたいので。
申し訳ありません、キャストリス様。
こちらも聞きたいことがあります。
あなたは
からかうのはやめてください。アグライア様。
Mana dia? Oh. Si itunya.
病に蝕まれた体であのタイタンに勝手に体をいじくられたせいで今でも
メモスペア。
分かっています。安心してください。
今回の呪帝への旅ではあれは奥変、そして今ニカドリーの座が空き、こうなったらトリビー様たちはあの人物からは濃い死の気配がしました。タナトスといえば私が背負っている
The
呪い
curse
についてはすでにあの時どうしてあなたは力の影響。すみません、少し唐突な質問でしたね。何日も走り回っていたので。
Dia tuh membawa kematian.
まずは帰って休もう。ミリオもずっと黙ってるから
何
きっと疲れてるんだろうな。そういえば炭鉱は俺がいない間どうしてたんだろう。
Lag. Aduh, tempat lag.
元気そうだ。
元気。
帰ったのか。
なんか
そちらの状況はファイノンからオンパロスで7シビト、主に日誌の整理だな。それで面白いことが分かったんだが、ヒアンシーの先祖はエーグルを信仰する天空のこの数日、生徒では突発的呪帝で事件があったことを考えると、これからもしばらくはひどく疲れた顔をしている。そうだ、風の噂。
Ngantuk. Kok jadi tribi?
トリアン。
どうしました？もしかして。
一瞬だったけど、それでトリアン
Oh, nggak bisa.
ダメ。いつもと同じ。
何事もないといいのですが、彼らなら。
なんやちゃん、なんかいつかトリアンが限界を迎
Kalian
えたら
kayak anak
ただ
kecil.
私はせめてお分かり。
そうなるよ。
ありがとう。なんだか私西風に乗って出発。
Bentar. Bentar. Mau confirm something. Oh, oke. Temporary edit. Oh. Maksudnya? Yeay. Gimana caranya? Berarti timnya harus 2 erudition. Ini ya, ganti ya. Oh, baby. Head to the best. Limited karakter semua, Kak. Hah? Ya gitulah. Kan saya belum skip login dari 2 tahun lalu. Jadi banyak karakternya dong. Nggak kayak Anda yang pernah kiat loh. Oh my god, cute.
お二人も来ていたのです。観光の庭の人まで来るなんて。私はでも安心してください。
たくさんの人が同時に。
それが、
この人たちは休ませて。
ライアちゃん、何か。
ええ。
Nggak punya Aglia tuh. Pengen rerun siapa ya nanti ya? Sih. Rerun aku mau. Nggak, yang pasti bukan Sele Fusion, mungkin nggak tahu. Lingsha mau, Black Swan mau, apa mau, Aglia mau, Tribi mau, ya semua. Oh. Sorry. What? Lah? Kenapa dia balik-balik kayak gitu? Hah? Ngapain dia?
そんなことだろ。この二人は生徒で最も強い戦士では。さあ話してください、モーリス。
Apa ini kok diam-diaman gini?
Iya.
Wah. Apa dong?
Mimachigai de wa nai daro. それ別にただいつもの君を特に変わった感じはしないけど儀式はまだ再開されている。
Painon.
忘れたのか。お前を試練から引きずり出したのはつい
Dia nggak
最
play ya,
近
bro?
のことだ。大丈夫。礼はいらんぞ。長夜の最後の光、イチジクとオリーブの実る豊かな。しかしまさか何の真似だ。ちょっと詩でも読もうかなと思っただけさ。クレムノス人は今のは作者の故郷を思う。詩の意味くらい聞け。そんなに怒らなくてもお前と一緒にするな。へえ、つまりどうすべきかは僕は意見を言える。それはそれとして。いいえ、今度は何を僕たちに必要なのはストレスを発散する。今度は誰が超おや怖いのか。クレムノス人の辞書に怖いという文字はない。
Shakening up.
いい機会だ。
こうして前代
サウナベッド。
見解を超えた二金馬の状況が見える。ある老いた戦士が口、黄金期よりも前の時代、それからやっと追いつい、また相手に追い込む。相手が限界、自分も限界。
Nggak bakal kalah lah, Mayday.
さあ、
お二人とも少し温度を下げましょうか。
どうした。ふざけたこと。
私に言って
勝手にしろ。
ではお言葉に甘えさせ。
Apa ya mereka?
見事に
己の力もわきまえず。
あなたたちのお遊びのせいで。
殺気で
君の方が涼し
聞こえる高音ピュエル。
そんな目で見るの？
さあ茶番はこのくらい。
Ih, skip. No, oke. Triumph with stunning 27 dulu. What?
さっきまでバタバタしてたけど、確かにわかりました。そうと決まれば。
Take a bath. Jangan lihat.
どれ
どうですか？
Oh my god.
でもトリビー様は一
Oh,
緒に
paper
入らな
guys.
くていいんですか？私たちはいいの。子供になっちゃったからね。
すみません。ヤーヌスの祝福の
ヒヤンシーちゃん、そうですね。触れちゃいけないとかないから、でもいろいろあってね。それと引き換えに
100回門を開くたび
Okay,
に
let's stop
分裂による影響が強まっていく。
最後にどんな風になそういうこと。でも
Apakah besok akan masih ngantuk-ngantuk
も
ya?
しかしたら私たち
さっきの話を聞いい知らせを期待して。
これで明日を楽しみにする理由が一つ。トリビー
Yang
様
lagi di chat. Lebaran besok ngapain? Ke rumah orang atau
ト
open house?
入浴客の5層は僕の勝ちだね。
一方的に始められた勝負の勝ち負けなど、
君、はい貸すってどういう意味だ？
Baik,
ハイエナ。痩せ細ったハイエナめ。
仕方ないだろう。もう長い付き合いになるけど、君がクレムの
俺も得意というわけではないからな。聞いたり読んだりするのは問題ないが、
君書き物とか冗談。
俺よりも自分の心配をしたらどうだ？
それは話せることなんて何もないからだよ。エルシオンはただの小さな村で戦争で特訓。今ではエルシオンを目にできるのは夢の中か、
あるいは
and
天末の矛の試練の中だから。
Ah iya. Yang bikin takut.
見たんだ、燃えるエルシオン。あの時と同じように空には血のように真っ赤に染まったキュレネを殺したんだ。
Siren.
でも今回はその姿がはっきりと見えた。僕は試練の中で奴と戦った。だけどこんなに長い時間が経って成長して強くなった今の僕が、
憎しみが目を曇らせていたんだ。お前はもう少しで己を見失うところだった。
あ、だから君には心から感謝している。
ようやく礼儀というものを学んだようだな。まあ
それでモーディス、君の
先に言っておくが、
その
There's
辞
no
書
fear.
そもそも何も書かれてないんじゃないか？
俺は
Masa
試練の中でオクヘイマとかつての戦友たちを見た。ヘファイスティオン、ペルディッ
No,
カ
namanya susah.
ス、レオンナトス。彼らとは生死を共にした。オンパロスの脳を吹き抜ける風は鉄錆の匂いがした。ペルディッカスは薬剤の調合、フトレマイオスは本の虫で。
その5人の名前を聞いたのは
当然だ。彼らはクレムノスの子軍がオクヘイマと手を結ぶ前に
Cewek.
すでに戦死していたからな。
Cewek cowok. Ah, nggak
最
tahu
初
deh.
に死んだの
Ini
は
kayak dokter
ペルディッカスだ
Ratio.
った。あれを
メデイモス。
レオンナトスは 5年目の冬
tadi
に命を
Leonis
落とした。あの時は
エイジリア。
キャスター、あそこの狂信者たちは俺たちは底なし沼に追い詰める。
素晴らしいことだ。
Leonis
メデイモス。
それから20回目の黄昏が訪れた時、俺たちの反撃によってプトレマイオスと彼の率いる騎兵隊は勝利を味わう前に、
メデイモス、家族に伝えてくれ。
その次がペウケスたちだ。彼は歌声でエネウールスの街中に敵を誘い込み、だがそれに怒り狂った敵軍
メデイモス、王冠をいただけ。
最後は最も信頼してい
oh
た
cowok semua
ヘファイスティ
dia sendiri
俺と共に決着を見届けるはずだったが、彼は病を隠していて。
クレムノス人なのに病で一生を終えるなんて。
she
ヘ
weak
ファイスティオン、我が親友よ。
Leonis
少し休んでいろ。すぐに。
そんなことしなくていい。
誰もお前の人生を奪うことな。
さようなら親友。
本当に重いし、どうして君が不死を欠陥だとか
Why you
呪
say
いだとか思って
immortality
い
as a
るのか。
defect
戦王はクレムノスの王の宿命に抗うために俺をスティクスへと投げ込んだ。それがかえって不死の肉体を
tuh
与
dengerin
え、
tuh
奴自身に運命の復讐を
Yang
もた
masih
らす
stuck
ことにな
dengan
ろうとは思いもしなかっただろうな。
siapa healer
奴が
pertama
死んだ後、一族を
Natasha
連れて故郷に帰ろうかと思ったが、その時のクレムノスはすでに荒れ果て、
ya ampun
闇とケラウ
ternyata
トルスを含
jebakan
む多くの者の
udah
反
mau
対を
lebaran
押し
masih
切り、
pakai bailus
クレムノスの孤軍をいずれ
ニカドリーの火種を引き継げば
guys lebaran
君は
kemana
故郷
besok
に帰る旅に出なければならない。だから一族の人たち。
わからん。だが俺が王として体感しなかったがために、あの5人も
本当に複雑だな。あまりいいアドバイスはできないけど、もっといろんな人に相談してみるのもいいんじゃないか。
lu nanya ke gue
君の先生
masak
の
apa
ケラウ
besok masak apa ya rendang udah siapin
ト
mantap
リビー先生、
kayaknya
そんな
gue
に慌ててどうしたんだい？
nyiapin apa ya tadi ada di grup bentar besok lontong ya biasa lah ya masakan di lebaran apa sih
ケラウトルス、何をしている？
rendang bosan rendang
メデイモス様、まさか先に
アグライア、
gue orang yang paling apa ya
この
apa sih
男
kalau
は
lebaran tuh pada nyarinya tuh
自分を
lontong
創世の家臣に連れてくる
opor gitu kayak
脅
no
迫
gue
してき
enggak
たんです。
orang makan lontong gue makan
さら
nasi
には大胆にも天罰の矛の試練にいる。
今の話は本当か？
そんなの
orang makan itu
もう
kue
待ちた
kering
くないからに
ih
決
gue
まっ
gak
てい
suka
る。
kue kering
いつまでためら
lah
っている
iya
つもりです
semua
か
itu tuh udah kayak template banget tiap lebaran mau ke rumah orang mau di rumah sendiri nyiapinnya sayur lontong gulai opor rendang bener bosan
ケラウトルス、その衝動的で無謀な行動こ
ケラウトルス、無断で試練を受け信託を冒涜する。まさか我
クレムノス人から見た偽善者で野心家だ。
黙れケラウトルス。自分が
その女をかばうので
aduh skip button mana this is not wah lontong ketupat rendang mie bumbu pecel wah
話は終わり。黄金栄と元ケラウトルス。
待ってライアちゃん、私たちに一つ提案
mantap
が
guys
あるの。ケラウトルスは
siapin perut
貴
besok
族のだからお願い。
いいでしょう。
oh gue sih seharian bakalan makan tuh selama seminggu iya
危険は私
oh
た
gue
ち
sih besok kayak nunggu orang pada bawa makanan
そん
deh
な漠然としたもの。
例の違法人の話はなので
open house
彼の力をか
公平な提案。
ただし
死よ。
besok
申し訳ありません。あなた
toko
のお
kopi
父上
masih
が亡
buka
く
nggak
な
ya
ってから
tomorrow gitu
私たちは
lah nggak sadar kalau
ク
belum
レムノ
off
ス復興
iya
の期待を
emang
故郷に帰ると
belum
いう執念は
今や我
Gimana
が
sih?
一族のや
Gizi?
見通しているから
Kayaknya gue gak bakal Avi
も
deh.
し本当に一
Gak
族
apa-apa.
そう
Enggak bakal. Kalau gue stream pas lebaran enggak ya?
勝者としての任務を果たすがいい。戦士よ、名を名乗れ。お前に栄光の死を求める。
栄光、貴様にはふさわしくない言葉だ。
シェイ、俺はクレムノスの古軍の先導者メデイモス。貴様の首を取りに来たぞ。
Kasih tahu triksnya aja. Masalah verif SMS-nya enggak kan? Enggak. Masalah kalau kalian mau tahu yang belum kepenuhin tuh masalah average viewer. Average viewer per stream. Tahu berapa? Sekarang 2,8, kemarin 2,9. Coba stream pas temen udah mau end aja, coba. Maksudnya gue kalau waktu stream susah di timingin gitu ya, sebisa gue aja. Kan gak selalu bisa. Stream abis tense mau kelar. Kenapa tense aja? Ntar disuruh read kemari ya.
そういや大交渉に相談するの調子はどうだ大交渉
Pas abis Shy Lily mau keluar.
俺の来訪を予
Ya
測していたの
ampun, udah kayak mereka sohib gue gitu ya. Inilah, minta Iron Mouse lah raid ke gue. Iya teman sama Shy Lily ya. Iya ini dulu.
広大なスティクスから
Gue mah go with the flow aja guys.
これまで否定してきた
Apakah VCT udah mulai?
ついに訪れてしまった
Wih, Alex lagi di interview.
俺は紛争の権能を引き継ぐべきだそうすれば黄金
Sebelah ceweknya gimana rasanya?
クレムノス人そして
Dia
ギー
pegang
ユ
apa?
詩人まで全ての人々が満
Oke,
足
sorry.
まだ迷っているのだな。
一族の者たちだクレムノス人誰もが
Tangga samping rumah gue mungkin, who knows?
彼らは
Siapa tahu beneran kesampaian kan? Amin, aminin aja
俺が
dulu.
王座につけば
お前は思っているのだな。
Gue udah temenan sama Kize, Kiki, Kai itu udah alhamdulillah kan tuh. Kalian kan pada
クレムノス人が
sepuh-sepuh
そ
Twitch.
の運命を受け入れ
やはり
Gak usah jauh-jauh Shy Lily tense. Switching to 3B. Tuh. Gimana cara gak ngantuk?
あら、どんな夢を見たの？私の可愛いトリスビアス？
Lama.
たくさんの私が出て
This is Himeko.
みんな
Enggak
で
deh.
お月様まあ素敵な
Model kedua gue rambut merah kali ya.
だけど
Kering.
お花の
Rambut merah kayak Ariel.
あらあらどうしたのトリスビアス？
Oh, I almost said the word. Saya anak baru di Twitch. Oh gitu.
その山
I have trust issue gitu tapi
それで最後に
apakah iya?
この世界に残念だけどそれは
Lebih
確
baru
かにオンパロスに存在するわ
Lebih baru dari gue kak? Enggak
私
kan?
たちのいる聖
Gue
殿
baru
か
berapa
ら
bulan
は
ya?
遠く離れた場所にあるから安心して
Tuh, 2, 3, 4,
人
5,
々はそれを
5bulan.
暗黒の塩もちろんあるわよ神聖なる
Gentle
ヤーネス
mother.
はきっと導き私いっぱい食べてでも
PNG juga. Apa live 2D? Waduh, live 2D. Ribet deh. Tunggu upgrade PC dulu kayak kalau live 2D. Chatnya ketutupan gitu kan. Emang turun aja lah.
でも一人だと力が足りないわ。あなたが大きくなったらきっとたくさんの友達。それはどうかしら。
Live 2D amin. Tahu deh, gue suruh adik gue latihan dulu.
これは夢？
Ini pun model gue kan dibuat karena dia mau latihan. Bikin PNG tuba.
そろそろ機嫌を直して。 あなたのお友達を探しに行きましょう。
Oke.
いつもやってるかくれんぼみたいに探して回るの。
Week 2 schedule. Sekarang janji PRX DRX DFM besok. Talon RRQ. Waduh, besok hari lebaran dan 2 tim Indo main. Global Esport lagi, boom sama global.
それはもちろん。
Kasian banget mereka nggak lebaran, gue baru nyadar. Tapi emang ada yang lebaran ya? Kayaknya enggak dah. Kayaknya emang ada yang dari RRQ sama Boom. Oh, emang ada yang lebaran mereka? Kalau dari PRX juga nggak ada. Yang lebaran tuh Nuts, John Cutie. Coba lagi. Set the timingnya. Timingnya apa nih? Sumpah POV jadi pendek. Historia Tribi ya?
一人はイグサが茂る。それならそうすればなんで偶然。
Apa sih nih? Itu kemana? Oh, ke sini.
Mo もちろんその人はそうとてもそれってそうかもしれないわね。決めた。私何も思い出せない。さあぬいぐるみを並べましょう。トリスビアス。この子たちをオルゴール？あらあら寝ぼけてるの？
Ara-ara. Ara-ara datar. Apa suara emak-emak di Jepang? Harus bisa ara-ara.
これがオルゴール。正しい位置にぬいぐるみを置くと仕掛けが作動しあなた
Atachi
覚えてない。大丈夫。ママがメロディーに合わせて歌えばきっと全部思い出すわ。神々は欲度を見守り、大地に草木が茂る。御柱は天地を開く。彼らは言う。世はあまりに静寂なり。我らそうして人々が生まれた。言葉と歌が紡がれ、これで創世は終わった。偉大なるケファレ、黎明の光がやがて集まって川となり、英雄たちの心中に。
Epilepsy warning.
ヤーニス、お聞きください。
Wow.
黒い霧の中。
flashing lights. Ah.
血に染まったこの世はなぜ
Woi, woi, woi.
あなたの姿のように
Kenapa tiap ada boneka selalu
憎んでいて
eerie?
人生はなぜあなたの悲鳴態度にはなぜ資料ばかりがさまよっていて起点にあるのはなぜ過去の人々の面影だけで終点ただ一人
Sabdu. Oh.
一人
Oh,
一人
lah. Sister.
逃げてトリスビアス暗黒の潮が
どこに
Nigete.
逃げればいいの
Hmm?
何これ
Tiba-tiba jadi game horror. No way.
なんでぬいぐるみが
これは聖女の末路
Halo
あなたが終
Jatim.
点にたどり着き
Halo Bang Jatim.
最後まで進むことができるのは
分かってる
Dia hype, gue lagi
最後
ngantuk.
まで行けなくても大丈夫私たちは
そろそろお別れの時間ね
Uga P-nya Palu gak sih? No.
もう
Udah mau jam 3?
時間がない
Apa sudah mau mulai? Ya masih interview ya?
もう行っちゃうの
安心して
Kabarin guys kalau udah mulai.
どうか忘
Oh itu, Siti Pasifik.
トリスビアス 人々は一人と別れを告げ
Iya, nobar aja yuk.
決心がついたなら
Ngantuk.
暗黒の潮を乗り越えまた明日ね
Nobar PRX kalah iya.
私の愛するトリスビアス
Gue mah pendukung apa nih? Underrated team lah. Ini siapa sih? PRX versus Genji ya? Dua-duanya.
私たち
Kalau gitu saya main dulu. Ya siap,
中にいるの
siap.
悪い夢でも見たのですか
Selamat main.
そうか
Jangan 5 stack lagi nanti. Nanti kena mental.
門の時あの粗暴な
Selamat streaming. Terima kasih.
ライアちゃんそんな怖いこと言わないで
冗談です師匠あなたが
私たち夢の内容はと
不安というのは
トリアンのことたとえ私たちが今後二度と100回も残された時間
彼女に門職人の責務を
あなたの言いたいことは分かってる
この件に関しては
魂が摩耗していって昔は私たちも完全な体を持ってたけどでも今の私たちは複数に分裂してるから私たちは
別れは辛いもの
でもそれに私たちとの別れのためにカナ神社
その時が来るまでに
そうだライアちゃん
と
話してたらお腹が空いちゃってそ
Wih.
れにそういえばライアちゃんは覚えて
やはり私が朝食の
いい私たちに任せてライアじゃあまた朝にかっこつけたこと言っちゃったけどやっぱり先に運命の深淵に行かない
久しぶりだねアナイクス先生
Anaix. Oh
Gojira sama
gitu,
Desho.
panggilnya Anaix.
あれ覚えてないのかい
Ah, dia
霊
pendek.
魂物理学の授業で
ああ、あなたでしたか。
冗談のつもりだったのに
そのよく回る人は覚えてい
Ah,
る。
se-Avengerin
今日
gitu
こ
ya.
こに来たのは当然でしょう。あな
Ah,
たが
ini
そんな
Profesor.
ことはないんだけどな教えてくれないか
残念ですが
Ya sih badannya nggak sebuild
新月のような探検もそうでした。奇襲で手に入れた戦利品です。
間違いない。
わ
あいつだ。
あの剣士を撃とうと思って
あのタイタンもそう言っているのか。
ええ、最初あの奇怪な力は
つまり
その可能性も否定。
とにかく
僕たち冗談はよしてくだ。
奴がいる限り生徒と火を。
そんなもの
あなたが信託を信じていない。これは自分。
座りなさい。もう一つ。
Story-nya selesai belum? No.
どうしたのトリアン。
トリアン。
大丈夫。ただ中帝での黒いマントの化け落ち着いて。ここ僕あいつを遠いところに投げた。
トリアン。
でも受帝の旅を無事に終えられたのは全部トリアンのおかげ。ごめん、ちょっとめまいがして。もちろん火を追う旅のためだ。でもその前にただ明晰の時に。あ、そうだ。朝ごはんといえばサフランの数いダメですね。あれ覚えてます。なるほど。遺跡。ただそれもオルニクスと最もやっぱり何でもな。その時は僕とにかくまず熟成されたサフランの探しながら進もう。
Ore. Apa ini? Saya capek. Stop dulu story-nya. Duh, daily belum lagi. No. Ih, udah bisa pakai ini. Build targetnya udah bisa karakter ini. Oh iya, double ya hari ini ya. Ya udah. Ini dulu bentar. Apa ini? Loh. Dia pakai windset. Emang iya. Dulu gue kesusahan nih domain ini. Farming set ini. Sekarang masih kesusahan. Buat danheng. Udah gampang sekarang. Dua harmoni gini belum ada. Gampang. Double. Jelek. Kangen lagu Herta Spaceship. Gampang. Jelek. Ih, garing bagus. Kehabisan poin gitu. AI-nya ngerti kapan pakai ini. Ulti yang 2 kali sama yang sekali. HP though. Buat apa HP boots crit rate crit damage? Satu lagi ntar aja. Assignment. Oke, apaan nih? No, 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 no. No. Get me out of here. Ntar aja. Pasti itu baca-baca. Oke. Kita ganti. Mau mulai.
Scrim's not coming to fruition on the stage, or is it something else? And it looks like they're keeping that up.
Yeah, PRX staying with that waylay with the breach Teo. It's a nice look to this map, but they have to have fixed their defender side mistakes.
Over on the side of Gen G, this is about as big as you get in terms of compositional innovation from them. They've swapped out Killjoy for Vice.
Whoa.
They're going to be playing the meta comp again. And actually, this is the first change they've made in 30 games of Lotus. They have literally only swapped the Sentinel in 30 games of Lotus, guys. So that's about the biggest change you're going to get out of Gen G.
Mark your calendars. We got change on Gen G, and maybe that's what we need. We're seeing change from both of these sides. Now, buckle up, Pacific fans. You know when Gen G and Paper X face off, it's never quiet, it's never simple, and it's never, ever boring. We're sending it to our casters, Komodo and Quack.
Let's go.
Thank you very much, Victoria. That's exactly right. Well, you've got Komodo and Quack here, but yeah, it's a really big match, and you know, coming up from the middle of the storm, as Victoria calls it, this is also one of those things to think about. I know it's quite early on, you know, week 2, day 2, but yeah, just the fact that you've got this matchup in Group Alpha, it's quite scary to think that one of these teams might not make playoffs, just given how every other team in this group has been improving.
Yeah, I mean, that's it, really, isn't it? Everybody's been stepping up when they're called to, and it's only the top 4 that are going to make it in towards the playoffs. So 2 teams, they are going to find themselves at the bottom, and I don't think we really would have thought that week 2 is where some, you know, the time that we would think is this actually going to like destroy a team? Are we going to like essentially say goodbye to a team?
Butterfly effect, I don't know. Week 4 we see something like, oh my god, this is when if only Paper X beat Gen G or something like that, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think Pilsky highlighted it nicely. It's something that I wanted to pull out as well. Yeah, 30 reps in a row for Gen G, even changing a couple of their players. They still wanted to, you know, bring about a Lotus identity with the Killjoy instead of the Vice. So changing it up right now, actually going over onto the Sentinels comp. So I'd be interested to see how they're going to play that. And for Suggest as well. Suggest on Vice, you know, he disappeared for quite a while and now he's back on one of the newer agents.
I do have a question for you. I mean, if that is the case, you know, it's been that long since they tried a different composition, new player as well. How could that impact your performance in the game?
Well, I'm hoping for Suggest that he'll just step into something new, right? A new agent for him, you know, coming back onto this roster, back with some old friends. I'm just hoping that they're able to, you know, find something here and maybe he gets a win in this arena.
Possibly. Well, we are already off, and right off the bat, Paper X already poking all around the map, a little bit into the B side as well, where Texture up around A has sustained quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, just floating around the side at the moment, however. Front of B for Paper X. We know how aggressive they can be, but a little bit of patience at the moment, exploring towards the A site as well before ultimately settling either on a C split here, or if they want to try and bully their way in towards B. Ash has been spotted out at the top of the upper site.
We also do have the Paranoia already sent out from Jinx straight in towards A Link. So a bit of control for Paper X on the B side, the spike getting planted down, but now they have to push out a little bit more with the time that they do have, and a double kill instantly being found with Forsaken and Jing pushing off to the other sides in towards C Link. Gen G trying to hold back, trying to fight back as well, and Karen and Texture will be able to rock them off balance down to just a 9. He might have the salvos, but can he truly play this post plant all by himself? Starts off with a frag, tries to tap even further. Salvos in to deny the spike defuse, but Texture has a great angle against him. It's a headshot or nothing for Defy, and he's being smoked out by Karen as well, spinning all around. Karen sticks the defuse, sticks the landing, and the pistol round picked up by Gen G.
Karen will get the last kill at the end of that one, but really, being able to get it defused halfway before the salvos came in is quite pivotal for him. You got to aggress, you know, 2 opening kills technically when the spike plant goes down. Some great C-Link control that they're trying to establish there, but then not expecting who else? Karen to just get in towards that one. You could see at the end there as well, Devire's a little bit paranoid that there's going to be a potential later flank to come through. 5 versus 3 conversion rate going to the way of Gen G for the pistol round.
Pretty early on, that's not something that feels too good, especially since PaperX are starting out on their somewhat favored attacking side. Still, they're not backing down. We started the round and they are already straight into the B side once again. Sting her out from Mind Freak though. A bit of a forced buy from the team, and they're able to do some sort of damage against Gen G. Instantly, mid-rounding it over onto the C site as well. Jing goes in for the Shrouded Step, where Suggest is now waiting for more teammates to flush through.
Oh, nice.
Unfortunately, though, not quite able to find the shot. Jing will be able to open up the site.
Really well done to get in all together through Vice Util. And a two-player advantage for them as well. Make it 4v1. I don't think that Ash is going to really favor his hand at trying to win this round.
It's a good
so
first
saving
play.
the Bulldog.
Yeah, what a freaky turn of events. Started things off with rifles and everything, but now
Jangan
down
kasih
to just
Bulldog
light shields
main
and the
free.
Bulldog, and you've got the threat of more Bulldogs being picked up by PaperX on the other side. Clearly a save, but still, just a bit of a surprise coming out from PaperX.
Yeah, getting the plant in the first round really does help them go for a bit of a force buy up into this one as well, right? And then the fact that you're comboing some salvos and a little loose spray with the Stinger, able to find a double there, and yeah, just ultimately a good idea, right? As you mentioned, Jing Shrouded Step to get in front of the Vice Util, and then everyone goes in together. It's a really good mid-round adjustment to come through for PaperX, and that'll set themselves up quite strongly going in towards the next round. They upgrade a couple of their lesser weapons into the Bulldogs here. You kind of throw a little bit of a reset over towards Gen G, who are going to have to come up with some good ideas on this defensive side as well, because if you consider the last installment we saw on Lotus for PaperX as well, right, against DRX, they're running in towards this double duelist. The next installment that they come into here is not looking like double duelist, right? Gen G are going to be playing this quite differently to how I would expect a DRX to. So they're going to have a couple of different ideas and how they want to plan their assaults because of that.
Very much so. We've got to figure out a way to play with this
Overlay-nya nyebelin juga
form
ya.
of
Aku nggak
PaperX,
usah pakai overlay ya.
which does look quite flexible. I mean, sometimes it's aggression. This time, it's a bit of a play off confidence, knowing that Gen G will be on that eco. So straight into the C site. You know, they're doing their due diligence as well, having the refract and smokes all around.
Just the gamble stat from Gen G. Sometimes it does happen. You can kind of look for any damage here. You can have a bit of a discussion, use these ones as a free timeout. Maybe you're just trying to take the Bulldog into the next round, though. If you're getting all the Vandals and such, I don't think it's, you know, a gun that you want to take into the next round, right? So go for the hunt, see if you can farm up any ults. Just be, I guess, a little bit cautious if you're giving any more orbs over towards the likes of Forsaken or Defy. Having those sort of ults in towards the next round could be quite scary if you get one away here, for example.
Wow. Even though they are trying to set up for some of these exit positions, PaperX are happy to go in for the chase and the hunt. Salvos, though, unfortunately, will take down a teammate. And that is very much alt points being picked up by Gen G. I think Texture had an alt or possibly picked up as well, so he's somewhat close to a showstopper now.
Yeah, and you know, a player like Texture, if he's able to get electrified in towards this map, it'll certainly propel this Gen G as well.
He's been needed to like step up as
well.
well.
I think that's the biggest thing for Gen G, right? Somebody has to step up to give some confidence for this roster at the moment. When we've got Ash stepping into Tier 1 for the first time, and we've got Suggest coming back, you know, you got to feel like every time he stepped into this arena, there might be a little bit of a curse, right? So hoping to see some good things from him.
Bit of a curse with the ace from last week as well. That's one of the points of conversation. You know, the idea is just that if Texture is needing to, you know, pull off aces like that, then the rest of the team must be a little bit quiet. So we'll see how this all plays out with the full buy round now coming through. Gen G with a bit of a stack on the B site.
Yeah, just leaving Karen over towards the C site, protected with a little bit of the Vice Util. It's an opener, though, that I was kind of waiting to see which would go, whose way it would go, rather. And unfortunately for Texture going down, he was the only player towards this A side. So it's going to have to be this massive flank where you don't actually have a proper flank watch to come out from PaperX, because they're not playing on the standard Sentinels whatsoever.
It is something that is similar to what we saw on that pistol round, the way that PaperX were able to find Texture on the A site, you know, jiggling the same position. That said, you know, even without a proper trap Sentinel, Mind Freak is now on the Sentinel watching the back.
See what Mind Freak can actually do here. Information would be huge for him. And he will get that, but it'll cost him his life.
See what the rest of the team does to react against this. Salvos instantly just to block off the choke point. Smoke as well, and now Jing hiding inside of it. Is this the aggressive controller that we're now expecting to see? Unfortunately though, an aggressive controller on the other side in the farm of Karen will be able to pick him off. Karen continues forward, finds a second frag. A bit of a trade coming through from Ash as well as Forsaken. Now something trying to hold out for drop, but no! Munchkin has already found it up from the top of drop, and that's going to be Genji trying to strike back, but still time bought enough for Paper X to fend off the defuse.
Well. Good work from Paper X at the ends to be able to hold that one down, and that just goes by a little bit of that timing factor in the round, doesn't it? When you've only got texture over towards the A site, you got everyone who has the idea, let's go to pillars, let's go to a mound wrap, let's just all go for a bit of a flank. Maybe we'll leave, one to come back from the normal side of heaven. You're just taking away way too much time off the clock to be able to allocate, the round essentially. So you got to be a little bit more careful in this slow-paced affair for Gen G, who are a team that really does favor into playing defaults early on.
A bit of a Red Bull clutch, but yeah, so now this is Gen G, needing to catch up to it, trying to find their own aggression outside of C. They've got the one-way smoke, but the convergent path sent through now, and that's where the teammates get to fill in that space. Forsaken might have lost his life, but Devi finds the trades, now one away. Well, no, he actually has the Armageddon. A little bit of a tough spot for Gen G to be in.
Yeah, you want to still go in towards this seaside at the moment as well. You spotted out a couple of extra bodies before, but you do have strength in numbers. The off angle at the moment from Munchkin will be squandered. And now it's just the Sheriffs that remain here, Quack.
Oh, Ash. He was the duelist from the Academy team, but it's not quite going to be enough of an effort. Mindfreak, having noted his position, still able to take him down. The only one left, Texture, on nothing but a Sheriff looking to do some damage. One kill would be able to put him up to a showstopper. That could be a bit of a chance. Pulls it off, finds something. Does he find Mindfreak as well? A bit of a dig, but Mindfreak manages to hide behind cover to pick the round back up for Paper Rex.
That is quite unfortunate that the Sheriff shots hit the wall on that one, isn't it? That would have been a huge clutch that Gen G needed to come on through. I got to say, one of the weaknesses that we saw from Paper X in the earlier series, and even stretching it back, was how they're playing out their post plants, right? I thought there needs to be some new identity that's coming in towards Paper X. We need this team to start to figure out how the macros of these maps are starting to look, and I will say, they had some really good ideas when it came to how they were playing out these maps against DRX last time. I was really getting more confident that they're having a good understanding of how their opponents are looking to play. And in a round such as this one here, you really do need to have a good understanding because you've got more Gen G players around this A side. It's not just texture.
Yeah, Gen G beginning to find some reads and adjustments, stacking up closer to the A site, but still a trade found by Forsaken. Judge play coming out from Munchkin though, and he will be able to eliminate any potential lurks coming out towards the B site, but still Paper Rex press forward past this toxic screen. Texture tries to hold the off angle, finds a couple of digs, and even a frag against Mindfreak. That slows down Paper Rex's pace, where then the paint shells actually does a little bit more as well. Tries to go in with a blast pack for a further frag, but still, Devi finding the trade, Munchkin to clean things up for Gen G. Gen G able to put up a strong foothold against Paper Rex.
Yeah, the difference between the Phantom and the Vandals sometimes, right, as well, just getting that headshot for the 140. You call him Mr. 4K for a reason. You technically should have had that kill if it was the Vandal at the end of the day. But hey, you give them the pass because he was really just providing a lot of assistance and assurance for Gen G in that round. Not dissuaded by the amount of numbers that Paper X are playing around Rubble as well. Just an all-out fight, which you generally consider. That's the kind of style that Paper X are going to want to play, right? They want to get down and dirty in towards a lot of those duels. And this time, you want to second-guess playing around mounds because that's where Gen G are looking to take space, take control. They're trying to force you either in through this lane, through B, or over towards A, where they've got their Sentinel set up.
Paper X has been aggressing over onto the other parts of the map, so Gen G in the previous round trying to get a read, trying to get an anticipated play ahead of Paper X. Now with the aggressive play outside of C, maybe not finding too much, but still keeping a lot of pressure against Paper X.
And this is where it comes towards the mid-rounding, the importance of it as well. What ideas are you going to be able to find out? Sheer Wall up to the front of A looks a little bit different. So you'll send in a drone to re-clear some space over at Mound. You'll just see Charon, but Forsaken wants to get in with it. I'm already seeing a lot of learning from Paper X in bringing in this Waylay, right? Forsaken's not getting too far ahead of the team, as we've seen from a lot of Waylay pickers so far.
Especially compared to last week, but as we say that, now trying to go through the waterfall, Texture will be able to find him. Something though, looking for the trades, they push past into the site, but still a lot of it being marked by Karen. Smoked up now. Paper X looks for a bit more space, a bit of a safe haven on the site itself, but still, it's not going to be quite enough. Genji has everything swarmed up. Something tries to go in ADS, but still Suggest finds his number. And there it is, Genji slowly but surely getting closer to tying up the score.
A great damage on the explosive entries that Paper X are trying to do in towards the site, but not really provided the way to be able to do so. And then you're in a, 4 versus 2 when the plant starts to get established. It becomes a little bit difficult when you're not able to set things up for some individual heroics on the Paper X side. So 4-3. You know, keep it a little bit backwards and forwards. Mind Freak on this lurk is not able to activate either as well. That's something that Paper X want to really try and instill in towards this one, you know, getting some really good Viper lurks. You know, got a lot of ideas from, you know, players like Meteor, for example. If you're talking about, you know, what you want to try and see out of a good Viper lurker, that's probably the player in the world to kind of look towards at the moment.
And that's what it is, right? Needing to find those timings if you are playing that role. I do feel as though it is a bit of an adjustment for Mind Freak. It's not an agent that he's never played before, but with the slight swaps and rolls, you know, Jing now being the main controller for the team. Right? Needs to find the adjustments, needs to find his timings.
What do we hear Alex say? Freed up for a Yoru?
Yeah.
Where's the Yoru, mate? There's no Yoru here. There's Waylay though.
Not right here. Yeah. It's like you free up one role, you free up a lot more for, you know, everyone else to play something different. I think Forsaken on towards Duelist, you know, is a bit of a different look as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind Jing on an Omen. There's definitely going to be that learning opportunity for him as well, and how he's going to bring his own nuances in towards the likes of an Omen, using it for second entry, using it to combo with Forsaken here to get in front of the Vice utility. You're going to see some really great counters, because a good Waylay can kind of counter every Sentinel in the game at the moment to get past a lot of that utility and stuff. So I definitely see a world in which Jing is going to be used as a second entry to get in front of this utility. But for me, some weaknesses that were exposed for him was timings on smokes and timings on paranoias, and that just comes with, you know, bringing it out for the first time last week, right? So you're going to look to see a little bit of new life from him in this one.
More experience. But with that as well comes some adjustments from Genji, you know, playing a little bit more defensive off of this timeout. So 2-2-1 split, and a lot more anchor presence on the C side. I mean, look at that. Somewhat 2 Sentinels. You got the Thorns, you got the Sheer Wall.
Yeah, and the Sheer Wall wasn't actually baited out by Forsaken going for the jump spot just before, so he's already used Lightspeed, he's already used Refract. He's essentially just going to be a, you know, a body at the moment to just do the shooting. High-low set up in the front of B if you want to try and sniff it out. You still do have your drone, but Forsaken 50-50 angle to clear, and he chose the wrong one.
That's got to sting.
A little bit.
And at this point, you're running out of options. Into the C-side, it's another high-low.
This is being played really well from Genji at the moment. You've got to consider as well that Sheer Wall is still not popped. You can't really try and bully your way in towards this C-side.
You can't go into C, you can't quite go into B either, and you've already spent so much utility. There was a fault line being sent out by something as well, and it just isn't quite enough. Genji continues to delay them with the snake bite as well.
Yeah.
What do you do at this point,
Komodo? You save at this point in time, unfortunately. There's not really much Paper X can do with 20 seconds to go. You can already see on the radar as well some repositions from Charon over to the A site, because they don't actually know if Paper X had already snuck up rubble, if they've gotten close towards the A site to potentially explode in. Now you'll kind of just get the idea that it is going to be a bit of a save. And it's a bit of a rough one for Paper X as well, when you consider that they did go into this one with something on a Guardian, right? So it wasn't the full kit of caboodle that you do want to go into it.
Fair enough. But still, we can definitely see, you know, some of the main points of focus. You need players like Forsaken and Jing to be able to create a little bit more of that space for the squad. But right now, that's tough.
This composition for Paper X at the moment, if you want to talk about early space gathering, you need to just see the drone, you need to see the salvos, because they refresh, right? You need to see good fault lines and flashes set up to try and get Forsaken into it if they want to use the light speed early, or if they want to save it for later, you're going to have to double swing, things like this.
Well, I don't mind that. So previous round, There's a bit of a falter towards the C site, but that does leave Genji to free things up a little bit more. Now you've got to just deal with a lone Suggest. And that allows for, well, Forsaken to dive right in, but Suggest is able to deal with the pressure. A double kill instantly found. She won't, not tripped either.
Pretty sure we've seen that exact play before result in the exact same way as well. Ooh. With Forsaken going into a dark cover, front side, getting taken down, and Jing as well. Nice. And now, well, you'll have a bit of an answer back, but into a showstopper that goes a little bit lopsided. You're still stalled from getting in towards this B side. It's another untenable situation for Paper X when you consider that the spike is also with the entry of B.
You're a car guy, aren't you, Komodo?
Yep.
Yeah. What happens when your car is stalled? Like, what do you do?
Are you doing cars stalling or already stalled?
Already stalled.
Already stalled? Well, I'll push in the clutch and I try and restart it, but I don't think Paper X is going to be able to restart something if you're out of gas.
Yeah. And that's the problem right now. You've got no gas. You've got no leeway into either site. You've tried in for the dive into C. You've tried for the mid-round, you know, somewhat of a rotation into the B site, but even that gets sussed out by Genji. That can happen right now. It's Mind Freak with this Viper's Pit. Good volley. Good to slow them down, but the Steel Garden, that gives Genji a bit more confidence into pushing straight in.
Gotta remember though, Viper's Pit, the day
up
is
by
here.
the back. Spots out Munchkin though. Oh, it's just not enough. That Steel Garden's effect is definitely stinging against Paper X.
If there was an extra second that he was in the pit for extra decay to come down, yes, then the classic would have been good, but it just doesn't stretch and cover a lot of the site with the way that he did position the pit, unfortunately. So, hey, a good attempt. I got to give it to him. You know, you start to get a little bit excited that maybe he'll be able to come with it. He technically did have the gas a little bit on the Viper. That one kind of played into itself. But the fundamentals from the very beginning for Genji, you didn't really need to see Suggest move too much around the C site, right? I feel like Pilski said it best. I think it was Pilski calling him a bit of a liability in the last series at the moment. Which, I mean, you know, if you want to get harsh with it, look, it was kind of true, right? But he didn't need to be the movable object in that round to start things off.
Yeah, in fact, just that one little play, the step away from that saturate. And the next round comes up. Once again, Genji moving things across the board. A bit of a stack towards C.
And it's just texture at the A site yet again. Last time his head was removed cleanly from his shoulders on this jump peak. So you have to be a little bit more cautious as the drone goes in.
A bit of assistance from, I think, Charon as well. So the smoke to put up a bit of a roadblock. Munchkin holding the up angle. A good flash, though, coming out. Support Forsaken into finding that entryway. But still, Nightfall already sent through. Allows for Texture to get that sneaky peek out. Paper X looking for another route, possibly into the B side, especially with Mind Freak to block things off closer to C-Link. But can you fend off Texture? Yes, you can. With that, possibly the site. And now a retake from Genji.
Yeah, see how they're going to play this one. Play a deficit. You got a bit of this utility that you can throw in. Ash on the horn. Paranoia already used a little bit early.
Suggest as well. So just to buy the attention away, but the trade's already found. Ash continuing to refill that space though. And Forsaken looks to get his way out. You've got salvos pretty much soon for Devi. Not quite yet. 4 seconds. Ash is sticking it. Ash is sticking it! Oh no! No frags found! Charon! He's managed to save Ash's life, and with that, the defuse for Genji!
You got to remember as well, right? In this high-level Valorant, if somebody is actually keeping track of this refreshable utility, somebody knows how long it's going to be until the salvos is there. But you're getting the idea that, hang on a second, if they're going to use the salvos, we kind of already would have seen them if they come in the first couple of seconds. So you've got that really quick adjustment to just stay on towards the defuse as well there. It doesn't matter that the convergent pass goes in because there's no salvos. The spike is not planted on a line that they're just going to be able to spam you down.
And a win like that is a boost of morale. Ash knows that his read was right. Paper X still scrambling to look for a round. It's been 5 in a row for Genji now. Back into A.
Jing repositioned as well, not in the normal spot that you would expect an Omen ult to be. So the fact that he's at the stairs is a little bit confusing for Charon.
With that, he finds one, but still the trades up around Baby Door. Forsaken, though, straight in towards B upper already. And that's something that Genji didn't expect. Paper X able to fill the site.
They've just crossed each other on the A side. They have no idea.
A little bit. Suggest them. Ooh, a little bit of a peek over the smoke, and something will be able to punish just a lone Ash. And at this point, not a round likely for Genji. Paper X were able to throw them off their scent.
Yeah, quick answer. Quick answer back. something that we associate with Paper X. W Gaming. Straight in towards the A side, a pivot in towards the B side as well. But Ash, I mean, he's giving this one a little bit of a crack.
Yeah, why not? Round 11. Could help in Altorbs, if anything.
Nah, now
Spraying
it's...
over with the Prowler. Yeah,
now it's a bit too hard when you've got a single choke that you're going to try and, you know, break and enter into 3 of them. Nah.
You got the creds, you just don't want to give the out points over to the enemy team. So he's going to back all the way off in towards A. Paper X being the respect that is due as well. 5 to 6. Yeah, it's not too bad.
I mean, when you consider that that was just 5 rounds in a row from Gen G, who are starting to really find their momentum on that defensive side as well, you want to throw a spanner in the works, right? You want to try and change things up, and you've got these little aggression points that Gen G are trying to throw you away. I think the biggest, you know, point of confusion in the round was actually where did Jing reposition to? I called it a little bit unorthodox in towards A stairs because it pulled Ash away from the site. Karon you know, died because of it, and there's a little bit of a shudder that goes over to Gen G. But hey, I will say, look, last round of the half, you reset yourselves mentally to get in towards this new round, and you start things off by throwing down the pit towards Mound, immediately drawing out all these combos of utility to allow Paper X into this C site.
That's right, Armageddon, Lightspeed, Refract, all spent just to get into C.
And Rolling Thunder.
The pit's already been dealt with, and yeah, with the Rolling Thunder as well. You know, it's a bit of space. But will it be enough for Paper X to really get a strong hold over the site? Unable found, Munchkin trying to refill space and instantly deleted. Suggest, though, able to spam through as well. So it's not quite safe enough for Paper X to get the spike down.
Yeah, this is a little bit awkward. Everybody's going to go for a duel here.
Smokes and everything to try to distract them as well, but Forsaken still continuing to hold. Good swing, though. It's 3 players on the other end. Something for a bit of a double, but it's not enough. The spike's been dropped. Mind Freak trying to set up a flank, but the pressure has already been dealt with. And Karen just marks his 6 as easy as walking in the park. So 5 to 7 at the end of the first half. Gen G will pick things up.
Yeah, nobody giving Mind Freak any bite on towards that flank, and a little later lurk as well. And even for the rest of the Paper X members, they're in deep in this C side, so they're not going to call the situations to try and get out of there as well. I will say, you know, this core 3 of Gen G are really putting in some hard work in this map so far on that defensive side to really get things started. We've got glimpses of Suggest getting in there as well on this Vice that, you know, plays a little bit differently for him. We've got Ash trying to, you know, do what he can as well. Some growing pains in that spot, but now, you know, you'll switch things over. Gen G to the attack.
I'm fine.
Yeah, you're nodding your head. I see you, Komodo. What do you think?
I'm letting a little bit of the cogs kind of turn at the moment, because I'm also considering, you know, for the likes of Paper X, right? What does this defensive half actually look like for them when you think that it was a 10-2 half that they were down last time, and 2 rounds is really not impressive on defense? Maybe, you know, the best defense is an offense, right? So we'll go play attack on this defensive side. We'll get off in your face. I can certainly see a world in which Paper X are going to throw a couple of those scenarios in.
You have to imagine, you know, it's going to be that, it's got to be that pressure down rubble, maybe the mount. But hey, how about that? Batman as the somewhat of an assistant coach.
Moral
support.
Sabar, Bang Alex.
I gotta say, I'm kind of waiting to see Batman KO.
Asli.
If that at all comes, I think he looks deadly on KO. That's my opinion.
Back from the challenger scene.
Indeed.
We'll all see how it all shakes up. I mean, right now it's not quite playing yet. Paper X still needing to work with this current core. It's been a little bit rocky, not quite the most solid, especially when we're thinking about their defensive side on this map just last week, like you mentioned. Starting things off though, bit of a stack towards B, 1-3-1, shaking towards stairs. With all that utility, is already a bit of information.
Yeah, it's a lot of information that Forsaken can communicate on over. Thorns, the Cloud is now, you know, stationed over towards this A site. That's not going to be movable. You start to see some big shifts from Paper X around the map, because a lot of their composition, you know, you're going to have to try and go for a couple of these duels if you don't have something's fault line ready to combo with salvos, for example. They do have both of them at the moment, though. So if there is a world in which Gen G are getting close in towards the C side or the B side, they could pop them in to stop a plant.
Well, this is interesting. With a drone out from B, Paper X are now stacking up towards pillars with 2. through that, they might be able to play around the door. It also depends on how close the is able to get into the seaside so far. Just not a single peep.
Yeah, it's going to be a retake towards this seaside as well, and there might be some early timing with the killer's approach that is starting to come through. But Suggest on this lurk, finding first blood in the round. 20 seconds to go. Here's the plant that starts to happen. There's the salvos that I mentioned before. Not going to see that combo with the fault line because that's going to be for the flank.
Yeah, it's already quite painful for Paper X, especially losing Forsaken as well. Now you got to worry about the back and up towards the front. That's when Gen G starts to push out. They have mound control. Now the only thing to worry about is Waterfall, whereas Paper X still has to turn their heads around. Where is Suggest? When's he going to show up? And as that happens, now Jing, outside of the smoke, gets spotted out by Munchkin. Suggest finally showing up at the back. Gen G have got them completely surrounded.
Yeah, Suggest is getting involved in a lot more of these duels at the moment as well. You know, he's keeping up with the old guard, even though he is technically one himself. But coming back in towards this one, I gotta say, his timing on that lurk was actually really nice. He kept Paper X a little bit occupied as well with that flank that potentially is going to come on through. So credit where credit is due. That's a good little structured pistol to come out from Gen G that they do have to alter things towards that C site.
I wonder what he said.
Are they going to be able to double it though? Because they did find the first pistol, remember, and then drop to the force fire.
Almost.
Definitely something to think about.
Imagine guys,
up right now. I mean, it's a little bit too risky. A lot early. Rubble pressure already, and Gen G are not letting up, pushing further in. Well,
mereka tahu Jir. Tunggu mereka maju aja. PRX yang dulu bukanlah yang sekarang real. Sumpah ya.
Now just somewhat peeling off Paper X, reeling from the loss. Gen G will be happy to come back in and refill that space as a full, healthy squad. Another one down. Just Mind Freak left.
Yeah, so far so good on the anti-eco, right? Not losing anybody. Bit of early damage from some utility. Munchkin actually, might lose his life here from a stray bullet of Mind Freak. But hey, look, if there's
they are cooking, but
at the end of the day, that's fine.
Maybe overcooked.
The bonus round.
Where you can get moments, but not even one found. It's Gen G with the flawless.
White swing,
really stringing some rounds together. If you consider the last one of the first half as well, Gen G picking Lotus for a reason, seeing a lot of weaknesses on Paper X's side.
Sesuatu tuh Forsaken doang yang bisa flex, Jir. Jangan suruh semua flex. Nyoba hero iya lagi.
So I'll be interested to see what this bonus round is really going to look like for Paper X as well, right?
Batman malah di situ, main aja Batman-nya.
It was the ego, right? It's one of
Sorry banget, Jing di situ juga nih. Jadi moral supportnya Alex.
Going throughout everyone's minds, not just Alex. Yeah. But that said, we do have a full buy now. Something able to spray through these smokes, finding texture. That's a good pickup.
Yeah, lasering him down. You'll try and upgrade your weapon as Munchkin right now, but you are a player deficit. You've got a lot of Paper X members trying to draw a containment field around this side, but that is quite awkward for Mind Freak. Not expecting to Suggest on the lurk, but more importantly on the far forward angle that opens up the whole seaside. And look how much space he is just commanding at the moment.
Going to be able to throw out the timing, throw out the rotations from Paper X as well, especially with the utility already placed down. Cycling through his thorns as well. Makes things a little bit more difficult for Something, not just Something, Jing as well. At least though, Paper X will be able to hold the angle from Waterfall. Forsaken with good little tap. 2 players left, and Paper X now pushes in. They've got a little bit of time on the spike. Of course, Gen G trying to play close plant as well. Like, take a look at Karen's position. That's the one you got to watch out for. Ash trying to pull the attention away to the front. While Karen slowly creeps forward. Something trying to stick the defuse. Someone has it halfway, but Karen, that's when he strikes. Forsaken now pushing further in. Karen low HP, but Shrug steps away. Tries to get ahead of Forsaken. But Forsaken crouches underneath, finds the triple in the round, and the defuse for Paper X to pick a round back up.
Yeah, enough time as well. Not worried whatsoever for Paper X there, right? But I gotta say, for Gen G, it wasn't like that was a weak bonus round for them either, right? They had a lot of that strong weaponry in the very beginning. It was like 4 Phantoms and Vandals, if I'm remembering correctly. And right timing on Suggest, again, you know, his timing in this map has kind of been impeccable for a lot of this contribution effort for the team. But just not able to hold it at the end. You know, the 3 versus 4 when you're trying to establish a lot of utility. It's the numbers game for Paper X that are getting their trades, that are having the right calls.
It's something that we'll have to keep our eyes on. Suggest versus Mindfreak right now, and you have to admit Suggest is doing just a tad bit better. But at the same time, Paper X looking to get ahead. Get a bit of a smoke, and for Forsaken to get deep inside. Looks for the sprays, but refracts back into safety.
Puga ada
How many other
repo
numbers do you know
enggak?
for Paper X that they're playing around the
repo.
mounds?
Really deliberate smoke. A little bit of
Tidak punya
Paper X starts
repo.
to reset into that
Itu game ngapain
2-2-1
sih?
position.
Yeah, one of the big things on a map like Lotus as
Jangan
well
gue,
is you're very
nggak bisa main
coordinated. You can
smoke.
play with
Gue main smoke
snipers
baru-baru
behind
ini.
these toxic screens as well. So kind of waiting to see what Suggest might look to do with it around this A site where you've got Mindfreak out in the open.
gila,
How
Mindfreak.
is he able to get away with two?
Make it three! Further up front as well. Oh, but the Outlaw punches back. Suggest
Mirip Little,
bit of a trade.
Little Company pun gue
Ash
nggak
trying to get ahead as well,
punya.
but something will be able to deny that.
Asli
Spike
duelis
for
enggak juga. Aslinya
possibly
badut.
they do have the numbers right now. Something beginning to push out of C as well.
I have the spike.
Tinggal Suggest.
I'll tell you the story, Quack.
Ternyata
About
selama
a guy
ini,
named Suggest in a 1 versus 3
selama ini apa?
back in VCT Pacific. He still has Sheer as well. And for a post-plan scenario
Mereka
too, that could actually be positioned a little bit nicely. The Arcros, the Steel Garden.
So chapter 1
Neon
gets the
Satset
spike down. What's chapter 2?
Satset
I mean,
matinya
the
iya.
pessimist in me wants to say die.
Satset ke silver.
We'll see. He already has a little bit of information off of those utilities being thrown out. Ooh, but a bit of a dink that might have
Nice try,
sealed the
itu
deal
susah.
right there. Divide.
Pugaannya.
Able to find a slight time to get into the site.
And then the prophet says, you read the story.
Oh iya ding, Reina. Reina gue masih bisa lah.
Look, criminal that Mindfreak's able to just stand in the open and deliver 3
Lanjut
kills,
terus,
not
ya.
gonna lie. But it is the doubling down on the round count there on this defensive side
Good
for
luck,
Paper X,
gamesnya.
where they equal what they got last time.
Dia lagi main repo.
Certainly feeling a little bit better off of that.
Itu Phantom nggak kayak Phantom dipakai sama Mindfreak, jir.
Bit of a triple coming up from Mindfreak, and that puts Paper X right back where they need to be against Genji with 9 right now.
Yeah, we're going to have
Genji
mound
masih
control
9.
fight for the very
Malam mau
beginning.
repo.
Again, see if Forsaken will get punished this time, who's getting you know, a little bit more of his own
Berapa
identity
sih
on
repo?
this waylay, though a little bit sticky when it comes into this dark cover play. Again, just forcing Paper X back. Genji, do they choose to actually commit towards the mounds this time?
Not fully, not
Oh,
yet.
bakal
Still
gue
that
akan teriak-teriak
2-2-1.
main repo.
It's up to Forsaken and something to prevent this from happening. You've got the fault line sent through, but look at the flight path from Texture. A little bit dismayed, but still Karen able to go in deep enough with a stinger. Divide hold out from Waterfall, but it's just a little bit of damage. The Steel Garden pushes them away. Genji should be able to get the spike down.
Yeah, buys time for the
Nonton aja deh
spikes
siapa
to get
yang
planted
penting
here at the
stream.
moment, but you still got to
Mau
think
lihat
about the
dulu
close
game-nya kayak
proximity
apa.
because these stingers, there's
Sama
3 of
Chris
them in play.
Rin kalau udah pulang party ikut juga dia.
With a
Oke.
little bit of a hold from Genji. Yeah,
Ini
the
bisa berapa
Stingers,
orang?
even Phantoms as well. It's really
Terus
strong
juga.
at this range, but still a bit of a swarm from Paper X themselves. Will be able to find that bit of an opener. However, the survival smoke on the side
nonton
definitely
dulu aja,
cordons
Ki.
things off. Texture able to hold it all down. Spots out Jing as well. Munchkin denies Paper X any joy in this round.
Yeah, big force buy from Genji. You know, they've already seen what Paper X are liking to do around the mound control at the moment with trying to
Nice
set up
work,
Forsaken a little bit
Genji.
forward on this waylay, take the space, because Lotus is, you know, one of those maps, one of these maps rather, that a lot of teams are generally
Nice.
taking either rubble control, especially in Teo Breach meta,
Sumpah
or you're
itu
taking some
Phantom ya?
mound control, and waylay just adds a little bit of a different flavor towards how you go about that. We already have seen Paper X go for mound control with the waylay, and we've seen Forsaken, when he sees a little bit of util or a couple of bullets his way, he immediately refracts out. So I like that Genji have just figured this out within this game and wanted to challenge in towards the C site with that lesser buy.
Yeah, they've always been so strong on the trades, Komodo. And right now, being able to play alongside Paper X's pacing, especially with that waylay
Loh, kok mereka kok
in play. Viper's Pit will deter Genji currently from pushing into C again, though, so trying to sneak their way over onto the A site. You've got Munchkin leading the pack. What are Paper X doing?
I mean, there's nobody at the A site, and I don't think you're really going to expect that if you are Genji, though just the sharp duel
from Forsaken.
Yeah, I see that. They've got the...
Wah,
they're
buset,
close to the
Vipernya
ultimates, I want to say.
entry pakai
So
outlaw.
possibly a bit of a retake play from Paper Rex, but Gen G, they're making use of the space. They're holding downstairs, and that could allow them to do a little bit more damage. Forsaken, though, will look to get ahead.
Yep. Going for the plant, converted pass on in, combo a lot of this utility.
Refract as well, convergent paths allows him to find the third.
Ace gak sih?
Forsaken continuing to creep up front, looks for a bit of support, and that's going to be another frag. Defy picks it up instead. Karon now trying to hold it all by himself, but Forsaken has everything. Down pat, a quad kill in the round for Forsaken.
Yeah, it feels too easy for him sometimes, doesn't it? When he's just going around, shooting, taking the lead as well.
Deliberately leaving A open.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if you want to, you know, you've got a Viper Spit over at the C site, you're having a couple of bodies behind it, because you do have to remember the composition that Gen G are playing. They've actually got a lot of drone ability that can kind of, you know, sniff out what's happening in the pit, right? If Ash's Prowlers are thrown on in, or if you want to get just the boom bot from Texture, you know, these are the kind of approaches that you could get in towards the pit and look to get through it.
So being able to understand what Gen G are looking to pull off, Paper Rex are able to find some counters, and right now with the 3-stack into the A side as well. However, Gen G slows down the pace. Forsaken looks for the trades, will be able to find Munchkin, and with the saturate as well, look at that, that's how you use the dash. He finds verticality with it, and takes down Karon. Mind Freak on towards the other side as an anchor as well, the top fragger for the team currently. 2 kills in this round, and it leaves Ash alone.
Just the Sheriff. See if he can get anything here, but it's not going to be the case. Another multi-frag round to come through for Forsaken. A couple of ults invested, don't get me wrong, you know, the Armageddon for Dubai. Technically, one might argue that that wasn't really needed, but when you feel like there might be some more members of Gen G, it's okay. There's still some more depth in this map to go that you might even be able to get that one back, and you're always going to be incentivized to try and help Forsaken in this kind of moment, right? Because he's feeling it, he's on one, he's feeling sharp. He wants to go for these jewels, and you absolutely cannot blame him.
Not only do you not blame him, you not even admire him. I mean, this is starting to look like Paper Rex from 2023.
Well, the biggest thing for me right now is coming in towards 2025, right? We've got Paper Rex who are experimenting with a lot of these different role changes, right? And we've got a Gen G who are bringing in Suggest, coming back, making his return to Valorant. We're bringing in Ash from, you know, the Tier 2 Challenger scene where he's stepping up, right? We're trying to figure out what is the new 2025 identity for Paper Rex. What is the new identity for Gen G in 2025? Where so far, we're looking at a Gen G who are kind of trying to play their style that they were in 2024. And that's, you know, kind of the reason that I attribute their loss to Boom a little bit, right? Where Boom had a really solid idea on how they wanted to try and counter those plays. Get up to those choke points and explode straight in towards the sites, especially on that ascent where you could look to kind of just abuse Suggest a lot. Right now, he's playing in a way that he's getting a lot more backup and it's not really being afforded, right? And he's also getting really dirty in these duels on the attack side. So this is a really good little switch up for Gen G, figuring out their own weaknesses. And on the side of Paper Rex, they're stepping it up as well, trying to activate Forsaken. So we are seeing a lot of growth in 1 week of play between both of these teams. And it really comes down to that time out there. Who is it going to favor more right now? Because we are getting towards the tail end of this map.
Very close to it. Forsaken pulls out the op as well. Refract not yet used, and he's going to be able to plant himself towards B.
Yeah, would you expect an operator, though, at this current point in time if you are Gen G? I mean, I highlighted a little bit earlier, one of the good strengths on this map when you are playing a comp with a Viper as well is being able to reposition anybody behind the wall, whether it be into the open like we saw from Mind Freak earlier, or on a standard line to situate an operator on the correct line. I'm assuming that that's exactly the right timing on the wall to reposition Forsaken, and then the rest of the team goes elsewhere. So they're playing, you know, strong side with rifles, operator on weak side, and now you know where it is. So does that give Gen G enough of an incentive to come and face the operator, seeing nothing from the Prowler towards A, or are they wanting to go to the C site where, well, there's a couple of bodies here?
You might even want to question who is on the operator. If anything, yeah. Look at swarm over on towards the C site now. I just heard them counting down 1, 2, 3, and there's the execute. In with Texture, but still the aftershock of all things finds Karon. Smoke's gone. Showstopper might have been spent, but Texture in towards a deeper spot. In with the Rolling Thunder, though. Something, along with the other teammates, will be able to swarm the site. They've got everything covered down. 7 seconds left. The spike has already been dropped. This round is over.
Yeah, unfortunately, Gen.G didn't do enough around the map to really bait out a lot of the utility from Paper X, right? You've got in the end there, you still got something with a lot of his breach utility. You still got Divide with, like, you've got everybody on Paper X still with a lot of that utility. That if you're looking to go into the C site sub 30 seconds and you're trying to set texture up to showstopper in, you know, you're trying to get a flash in and everything. Well, you got to remember, this is Valorant. This is a game that is still a gun game, but abilities are quite destructive in this current meta, right? And you have to be baiting them out early enough.
And I think this answers your question as well. 2025 Paper X plays with utility and an op and a bit of a slower pace, being able to control around the map this way off of slight timings, or 30 seconds off for Forsaken repositions. Early round, Forsaken positions himself again down pillar.
But
Nothing
this time,
found though, yes.
This time it's quicker from Gen.G, right? Up towards the A site with an idea that they can get in and clear tree with Prowler, standard utility to get on up. You'll still have to start to clear the site with the rest of the utility, however, but you've got an early C flank that's already noted.
Yeah. So it's a great read from Gen.G to be able to throw Paper X off.
Do they pit?
It's a good question.
They do.
The right time as well. Salvos will break the door. And the question is, does Paper X have the retakes?
Oh, but Suggest is going way too deep. They might expect this, they might not. No, they probably won't expect this one right now.
Depends on Suggest's timing. With that, yeah, Suggest was able to turn around at the right moment. 2 kills. Texture holds off on the top of heaven as well. Just Forsaken and Divine. Shouldn't quite have it. And no, they do not. Suggest even more dirt into the wound. And it stings. Divine now, the only one left, looks to hold on to his weapon, but not even that. Karen snuffs it away.
Yeah, that Viper's pit at the tail end there. You know, the entrance in towards A covers stairs, covers any baby door entry in towards the side as well. It's a pretty destructive one when you consider how much utility you'd actually need to throw in there to kind of get in. And then you also wonder, well, it's a single lane. Anybody that is spotted in that pit, well, you're assuming they're just going to get sprayed. So really well done from Gen.G from the beginning of just getting rubble control in towards the A site, seeing nobody home, having the the contingency at the end there with the pit too. New round though, 4 stack for Paper X towards the A side, an early duel potentially here.
And what could be one of their very last few buys. Gen.G picks this up. It's going to be map point. So hopefully the stack helps them out. It's Forsaken up to the top of Rumble. Ooh, finds Texture, but still the sprays from Karen over. He shrouded steps way past them, finds the quad. Jing, Divide, they all got blown apart. And it's just Mind Freak left to pick up the pieces. 3 pieces.
Halo, saya kembali.
Slowly
Makan bang, ya ampun, enggak lah malu Ki.
looking for some placing back into the game, but still
Tadi dipanggil.
it's Gen.G. They have so
Sekalian
much that they
saat.
can do.
At this point in time, it's just on Gen.G to not make a mistake here
close game
and
juga.
give this round over towards Mind Freak that you've got to consider as well. Does he go for this?
He might try. It is 10 and 11.
It's a Viper though.
Yeah.
You have to. Your only efficiency is going to be on your duels here.
If you are Mind Freak, you just feel so alone and cold right
So
now.
alone. Yeah.
Gotta do everything.
Keren.
As soon as he gives even a little peep, Munchkin will silence him. It's Gen.G up to map point, and they are feeling way more confident.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this Gen.G at the moment has an idea of how they're wanting to play this map, right? They've done their homework, they've done their preparation, they're having some really good mid to late round calls, and even some great early calls. I mean, you know, Karan, right? Once upon a time, a rookie in towards it. We're wondering what is he going to look like in his Valorant endeavors, and he's coming out with now, you know, we're calling him, you know, one of the pivotal core members of this award-winning roster in Gen.G. Like, he's certainly stepped into it. He's the one to get it.
Bocil.
Yeah, Shrouded steps his way all over. Calls out a desperate timeout for Paper X. I mean, those war cries, man, I'm telling you, they are something.
Oh, yeah. No, 100%. And if you are
Kalau nggak
Paper
ada
X at the
vaksinan
moment as
semua
well,
kayak seragam
you know,
gitu kayak
what are you trying to do,
body
right?
build tuh sama.
We're seeing some great duels being
Janji.
fought by Forsaken for sure.
Para
We're
beruang.
trying to see all of this utility to help set him up and everything, but when he's losing his life and your early round game plan isn't going your way as Paper X,
there's nothing to really reactivate back for them currently.
And this is where I really do wonder what it feels like for the players on that stage right now. You are Paper Rex. You started out incredibly well against DRX last week. It's just to kind of throw that all away. Now you're very close towards pushing to an overtime right now as well. But do you have it? Everyone's eyes in this stadium, even right next to us. The analyst desk, their eyes are all glued to the screen right now. And they're all wondering, does Paper Rex have it?
Yeah, I mean, you got to consider the weight behind the names, right? Paper Rex, Gen G, Staples. And right now, Jing, I was going to highlight him, who's having a bit of a shocker. So the fact that he's found an opening kill here.
Repositioning as well, something that a position that Karen has played
before.
This time we see a little bit more of it from Suggest, but he's working. Jing is working alongside Mindfreak to anchor down the C site.
And this is a really stretched wide default as well from Gen G, right? So what can Texture find over towards this A site? What timing can he kind of coordinate with this Viper utility? Ask for Munchkin, wall up, wall down. Try and clear a lot of this space, which is just a double hold at the A site at the moment.
Internetnya bagus iya sih ya.
For Paper Rex though, the opening kill is already throwing wrenches in their plans, but Texture, look at that. The sudden peek out, even with a high-low, someone crouched down, is able to find the frag. That just might open things up.
Kalau di sana ada 5G.
Off of a little kill, Paper Rex now peels back.
Di mana lagi yang bagus ya?
Divide. The salvos now as well, can you combo them with anything to ensure a kill, or are you just using them for the time? It has to be a little bit of the latter.
Unless you can allow for Forsaken to get it somewhat, but Forsaken's pinned down by Texture on the A site. It's just down to Divine and his teammates to try to hold it off. Converted pass, but no, it doesn't quite connect until Forsaken pushes up with Jing. 2-on-1. Does Ash have it? Low HP, Jing gets destroyed. Forsaken now out from Baby Door, makes a bit of a footstep out with the Phantom, goes full spray, but Ash crouches down, finds the headshot, the triple in the round, and bringing us to the final destination on Lotus, 13-10.
Very well played from both teams, I gotta say. We had some really great moments of these teams showing their new character in the server, but at the end of it, I mean, how many occurrences did we have of just multi-fragging rounds in a row from Gen G, right? They closed it out with the 3 in a row there, 13-10. It's not the most comfortable win. A win is a win to start off this best of 3 though, and on your own map pick as well, right? We had weaknesses shown from Paper X, though you flip it on over, and Fractures around the corner.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty tricky to say the least. I mean, some great performances, you know, some improvements coming out from Paper Rex, but it still leaves us a little bit wanting. Gen G, on the other hand, significant improvements coming out from the likes of Ash and Suggest. And not just that, for Texture to be able to step up as well. I mean, he's found opening duels on the defensive side. It's Ash and Suggest to be able to anchor certain sites.
Yeah, I think for me, one of my worries for this roster in Gen G at the moment was how are you incorporating Suggest, right? How are you looking to get him to bounce back from the last series? They're still a phenomenal team with a really strong structured core 3. Bringing in him, bringing in Ash, there's always going to be question marks with these rosters, right? I think that Suggest has just found things that were really working for him on that map, that he can bring elements of that into this next map as well.
And it's just so incredibly strong for Gen G. They must be feeling a lot better as compared to last week. But speaking of how things feel, I really do wonder what it feels in that Paper Rex room right now. But before all that, we've got to toss the question over to our desk. We've got coaches on that staff after all, so tell us what it all feels like after this first map.
What it all feels like? Well, I think things went pretty okay, actually, for Paper X and for Gen G. Both of them playing far better than they did last week and during kickoff. And yeah, it did come pretty close. So Quack kept asking how it feels. How does it feel?
It feels tense. Like, losing map 1 is always scary. I do think there was signs of improvement there for Paper X. I thought in particular their defender side was stronger than last week, but it wasn't quite enough to get it over the line because their attacker side didn't look as good this week. Gen G also much more solid than we saw in week 1. As the caster said, special shout out to Ash and Suggest. I feel like they were both actually present in the game this time and able to kind of hold their own.
Yeah, I felt like Gen G really wanted that one. We could hear how loud they were getting.
Oh, they were screaming.
Yeah, we were on a completely another floor to them, and I could hear them getting rowdy. So they really do view this as an important game. They're trying to get themselves pumped up, and you saw some good moments. I mean, this is a phenomenal game from Caron, and you know, this is a map where your Omen can have a lot of impact for you, and he's really able to positionally play very well for Gen G, particularly on that attacker side. Had a couple of very impactful multi-frags. Totally agree. I think Suggest in particular really impressed me. You know, I felt like, I mean, I mentioned it in the pre-show, I felt like he was a bit of a liability on the Cypher on Ascent. He very much did his role here on Lotus, and he played the Senti role on the Vice very well, not only on defense, but also on attack. So, great game from him. I think Forsaken is showing really good signs on Waylay. He seems to consistently find impact, and I think particularly with the ult, he's hitting a lot of people. He has a really good idea of how to use it. I really like that Waylay ult we saw down C long, where he's able to just kind of dismantle a whole setup with a Waylay ult.
Yeah, they definitely have good ideas with the Waylay. I've been enjoying watching it. It's just a shame it's not quite getting them over the line.
Yeah.
I do think what's also funny with Suggest in a way is that you could clearly see PRX's game plan was, let's find Suggest. Let's run a Suggest. Wherever he's going to be, we're going to take it to him. We saw them go C and B at the kind of start of that game a lot. They were avoiding A and really trying to find Suggest. And you know, if somebody's disrespecting you like that in the server, there's only, you know, you got to stand up to bullies. He has to put a stop to it, and he did that. He did a great job of. He was able to hold down his sight. He was able to anchor, and he forces PRX to pivot, change their game plan. So I think he did great that game.
Yeah, he did. In fact, let's rewind. Speaking of the beginning of this match in the first half, on the second round of the anti-eco.
Yeah, I mean, second round, the force spike comes through from Paper X, and this was already kind of some worrying signs for me. I see the Waylay double dash into sight off the back of the Teo drone. Something stuns Forsaken. He dies for free, and then Mindfreak does this. A double kill through the smoke with one clip of a stinger, and all of a sudden this round goes into chaos. So some of this individual brilliance from Paper X really did some wonders in some of these rounds, but there was also some shakiness, and you even saw it in that last round with the clutch that Ash was able to pull off. They really weren't always on the same page, Paper X.
Yeah, I mean, they did a good job, I think, there. To get the force buy ready to go was great. Now, this was a great anchor from Suggest. I think this is what I mean. They were trying to punish him, but he found that gap. We know with Waylay that you're going to be, you have to have everything covered, so Suggest understands that and reads it. This was a different little wrinkle that we saw PRX add. We said we wanted to see them be more aggressive on their defense, so he's running down C and refracting away on pressure. And this, of course, is that ult that we spoke about. This is the best team at getting value out of this ult, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I totally agree, and it's such an impactful ult when it does hit, because you're basically useless if you get hit by that Waylay ult. You're going to basically be a liability, a sitting duck that really can't move anywhere or fire back too much, and you can see just how easy it is for Forsaken to roll back on through with that retake and complete it with relative ease. MVP goes to Caron. I think the best player for Gen G in kickoff, undoubtedly. And in that opening series, he had one pretty good map, and then he had one map where he was kind of struggling. So I think Caron, up and down, but still well and truly shows the potential to be the best controller in the league, and can very much just win you a map when he's feeling himself. That crispy aim, the good old dot crosshair that always seems to hit the head, and the multi-frag potential, and positionally he's always just so sound. Like, he understands exactly where he is in the round and what he needs to do.
He's so comfy on Lotus. This is you know, Gen G have played so much Lotus. He's been on Omen for like all of it. He really understands this map. He understands his role in this map brilliantly. He's in the right positions. He knows the TPs. It's a joy to watch him play, and I'm glad that he kind of, this map at least was a little bit of a return to form for him, so nice to see.
It's actually remarkable that he was the rookie last year on Gen G, but now he feels like a fundamental being of Gen G. He's so important along with texture there, and he does keep it up. Like you said, there are some inconsistencies, but he always in the end does step up. Now, Fracture is going to be the next destination, the next map, and we know Paper X is pretty good at Fracture, and Gen G wasn't looking their finest.
No, definitely not. The Gen G game against RRQ was one of the games where I think they got smacked the hardest in kickoff, and they were playing a mirror comp in that regard with the Sova. I expect them to change their comp and probably bring something new, particularly with Aston Suggest coming into the roster. And I wouldn't be surprised if Paper X changes it up either, because they played Fracture in kickoff. They had some success, but they have been playing a lot of Waylay lately, so that's something we could see them play again here.
Yeah, we haven't seen this from either team in Stage 1, so I think whatever whatever preparations they will have made, we haven't had a chance to see it yet. And there was a big enough gap for both these teams because they didn't go to the international events. So I think changes should be expected for both of these teams. As you say, PRX historically quite good on Fracture. It is a map that suits their style well, but you know, they've not really been playing the old school PRX style in a way.
That's true, and role changes too.
Yeah, I mean, this is where I want to ask the question, right? This is a Raze map. Is Jing going to play Raze, or is Forsaken going to continue to play the Duelist? Because he's played the Duelist every single time for PaperX so far. Is Mindfreak going to be on Brim, or is Jing going to be playing on Brim? Because he's been playing that controller role, and who's going to be on the Senti? You know, is it going to be Mindfreak, or is he going to have to let someone else play Brimstone? I mean, Jemkin makes Brimstone look pretty easy. Just throw a Duelist on an iPad and then let him just frag out, right?
I want to see Jing go into the Brimstone. Moving your Duelist across the Brimstone is a very easy transition for most Duelists because you drop your util and then you're able to go freely into the site. You're lacking the kind of nuance in a way that something like Omen has, where you know your paranoia is a hugely valuable bit of util. There's a, you know, the recharge on the smokes that you have to manage. Brimstone, it's drop and go. Then you become a gun.
Drop your smoke and you're a man with gun. You are just a man with gun. You're a little toy soldier from that point in the round. Don't think about anything. Just do stuff.
So I do think Jing could do a good job there. So I
like that.
like to see that.
I like that idea. That could be really interesting, and almost without a doubt that both teams would be reshuffling things a bit. I'm of course curious how Gen.G will be changing things up. You were already shocked that they changed their Lotus up a little bit. I wonder if they'll be doing the same for Fracture. But I know PaperX, they have evolved, adapted Fracture over the years and have generally been fine. So what's Gen.G going to do? I'm pretty sure they want to close this out 2-0. PaperX is a tough opponent.
Yeah, I think honestly, Teo inclusion, I don't expect like the overall structure of the comp to change. Like, I don't see Gen.G as a team that's going to flex into double duelists and change the roles up hugely. I think it will still be on suggest on some kind of Sentinel. Ash, I mean, I probably don't want to see this over again. It didn't work for them so well last time, and I think maybe it might have been a comfort pick of Yeoman as well, to be fair, to some extent. So look, I think breach Teo and just keep things simple, put texture on the Raze. Gen.G is that team that I really do just expect to play whatever the meta comp is, whatever there's a high percentage strong comp is on the map.
Well, we are about to find out what these two teams, Gen.G and PaperX, is going to play on Fracture.
Technical difficulties.
Fracture is just one of those maps. They say bangers on Split, but I think it's the same case for Fracture, and things have definitely changed up.
Yeah.
The neons are in. We're not getting Raze on the PaperX side either.
Yeah, Gen.G, I mean, texture was fantastic on the neon on Haven the other day. Suggests not so much on the Cypher, so hopefully he's feeling a little bit more comfortable going into this one, but they are playing Breach Teo instead of the Sova.
PRX opting to kind of stay with this format with their compositions. We do see Jing on the Brimstone like we spoke about. I think this is a better role for him, and I think he should have an improved performance. Forsaken staying on that Duelist with the same core supporting behind. Mindfreak staying on the Sentinel. We've been asking for consistent roles on PaperX forever, and they seem to be delivering.
Yeah, this is what they're going for, just uniformity in terms of the roles. So we'll see if that is going to be something that's going to work for them, because a lot of people are going to be seeing Jing not on Raze on Fracture and doing a bit of a question mark here.
Well, PaperX does come from a duelist core here. Quack, who casted some of PaperX's earliest game, might remember Forsaken being a primary duelist, and it looks like that's the role here. We're going to go into map 2 and send it to our casters, Komodo and Quack.
Oh yes, I very much so remember that, Victoria, way back in like 2022. Now we're getting to see more of that right now on the stage, but at the same time, you know, just thinking about how all of those results from the very first map plays out, Komodo. I mean, you saw that shot of something with his eyes closed in that chair.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a lot going through your head in this sort of scenario as well, but you do have, I guess, one saving grace that you're going into your own map of choice, right? So we're looking for something new from PaperX, where they're running this T1 comp. So are they going to be able to draw some little parallels from that position and apply them here?
We'll see if that does pay off for them, but right now, just a full collision outside of bench and arcade. Jane will be able to find one off of the little exchange though. Just a full dump of utility, and right now, a bit of an aftershock to allow for Ash to go for a peek, but Forsaken will still be able to rear his crosshairs around. Munchkin, however, will be able to push up as well until he gets taken out. All that said and done, Suggest was able to look deeply into the seaside and past defender spawn.
Yeah, but is it going to work for anything? That's the problem right now. You get an idea from Mindfreak that eventually the lurk is going to be there. 1 versus 3, I mean, both of these guys are low. But if you're just playing to the numbers, you're doubling up, and
maybe not like gonna get clattered.
Hopefully not. High-low. Oh god, they got away. Just
oh iya kan spike di situ.
To set up for the fault
Suggest sama
line,
Igun.
suggest stays tucked away. Paper they still have the spike.
Yep. Reposition again, go for another
Kayak
high-low.
baby face Igun
Again,
ya.
a high-low, and there it is. Forsaken to pick up the pistol round for Paper Rex.
Dia tapi
more
Korea
multi-frags come
tapi
through from
bule
Forsaken.
tapi
If this is, you know,
Igun.
one of the new looks of Paper Rex, where we're actually finally getting structured roles and stuff, it is, you know, down to this comfortability factor, right? When I'm thinking of this roster, Forsaken, you know, on the duelist again, okay, that makes sense. But for something as well, right? How is his breach looking like? Because that's seemingly becoming one of the more common picks for him. And I mean, I think his caliber of play, he's going to make any agent look, you know, kind of above average.
Kenapa
But for
Batman
Breach, you
masih
know, to
belum
set up this team, he
main?
really
When
needs
will
some great
Batman
timing to
play?
really be consistent.
Mungkin gua
That's where
akan
it does get a
akan
little
lebih
bit more
bangun.
tricky to be able to pull off these plays, but at the same time, Genji.
Batman jadi asis kasih. Tadi gue bilang jadi yang di sebelahnya Alex.
I do like that.
Jadi siapa tuh?
I mean, frac shot, there's
Yang
4 of
udah
them.
nggak di
Not a bad
VRX lagi?
idea.
Play a bit of Pac-Man.
Si itu. Apa
There
aku lupa
goes the
namanya?
second pellet. Jing, wow, a lot of discipline. He's not going in for the peak, knowing that there might be a lot of them on the other side. As I say that, he does go for the swing. Finds Ash, though, not too shabby.
Yep.
And smokes it off.
I mean, we heard it on the analyst desk, right? Switching duelists onto a brim when he's not on the iPad.
He's not on the
It's point and
iPad.
click. At the end of the day, Valorant is point and click. Just like that.
Just like that.
Dicari balik, di flank
Second
kebalik.
kill found in the round.
Whoa.
Genji still in the same spot as before.
Iya susah
Now
kan.
you've got Mind Freak chiming on the other end, but Genji with the information that they had from before, trying to look for the pinch against Jing. And Texture will find it. That's not too bad. In the pistol rounds, able to find a bit of damage against Paper Rex. That's a couple of rifles lost, but still, of course, Paper Rex will pick up the round.
Ada apa Rex
Nearly a
jangan
flawless
dipakai.
anti-eco. We're getting a little bit too
si
ahead of
Trex
themselves.
detection.
Paper Rex now they're going to have to, you know, fashion out some good defenses in
Itu
the
namanya
4-lane
frenzy
map. You
moment.
know, one of the things when it does come towards Fracture as
Kata
well is you got to
replaynya,
think,
please.
right,
Mau lihat tuh kayak apa, ke stun gak sih
the
tadi
likes of
teksturnya?
a Vice Wall to be kind of a glorified alarm bot, right? Are we looking to just leave it in one position, going together?
Itu stray bullet sih.
Yeah.
Jadi sama Jason always mati banget.
Jeez Louise,
Emang
alright.
dua sejoli.
Now we've got the buys. And Genji start with 3 north side, 2 south side. Paper Rex pushes out alongside the stealth drone. Stuns and relays suggest trying to stay alive. Ash just kind of abandoned him, deserts him. But with that, a bit of information and a timed read as well, Genji will be able to push into the B side, blocks them off of the angle with the salvos as well. Will they have the spike plant off of this?
Oh, but will you expect Texture to already be pushed near spawn? The answer's gonna be no. That is so awkward. And this round is actually turning on its head.
Oh my, what happened? With that though, Karen left to kind of fill up the blanks. He finds a bit of a double, but still nothing much found after that. Paper Rex will be able to find those trades needed to pick up the bonus.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these common things that we are seeing on a map like Fracture when you are running this. It's something that I think, you know, Vice Comps can do quite well, right? If you are just considering the shield wall's versatility, where you're using it as a glorified alarm bot over towards Dish, where it more commonly is, you open up your team to go for a crunch on the south side, the attacker side, spawn side. Taking free control, it kind of does make sense when you consider this composition that Paper Rex are running.
So hoping to expect more of that. You are on the defense, and you do need to get
Betul, Nair,
proactive.
betul. Masa
Swapping
dia
up to different sides,
masih main
though, and now
Valo
you're a lot
walaupun
more
gak ada
pressure.
mousepad
Again, back in towards
yang
bench.
bener masih
It's
bisa
up
MVP.
to
Gimana
Mind
tuh?
Freak to
Bagaimana
pilot
menurut
this
Anda?
Vise. He tries to reposition himself. There are a lot of smokes up around the site. Pushing
Yang
out though,
bohong dia.
Jing will be able to find the first frag. Denies a little bit of entry, but still, Genji pushes past tower. And that's Mind Freak gone.
Oh, they should have heard it.
Stingers and everything. Yep, a bit of noise as well, but for Forsaken, just to land this nasty relay bolt. Slides forward as well. Looks for the third, but Texture answers back. Low HP, but still a doable one-on-one until he throws out the fast lane. Something. timed peak finds the 4th round for Paper Rex.
Siapa yang
Wanting
kayak
to really
ini?
get dirty with these duels. I mean, it was working how many times over on Lotus, right? Setting up for Forsaken for multi-frags upon multi-frags. He's just getting comfortable back in his own element. You've got, you know, a lot of these smokes that they're playing around with. You don't need to keep it too chaotic around the side as well, right? Just get the gunplay happening, and it's working a treat at the moment for Paper Rex. And I think one of the things to really consider here is we've seen 4 rounds. It's pretty much 4 different ideas. So they're really, you know, trying to explore and keep things guessing on it as far as Genji is concerned.
Ketutupan model gue tuh.
Well,
gitu deh.
Genji looked to deal with some of those concerns early on. Wow, rolling thunder straight into the B site, but Forsaken has kind of gotten away because of that sprint. So back and towards the safety of Generator and Canteen, something will be able to find a spray through the smokes. And now for Karen to try to hold, he's able to find the microflake, snaps back onto a texture, chiming in as well from Canteen. A bit of a swap around in positions, and Paper Rex are now finding themselves a little bit dazed and confused. Flashpoint out, but Spike not yet planted. Genji a little bit pinned down as well, Komodo. Still though, Paper Rex trying to reposition themselves into sight lines. Karen and Munch can find the frags needed to put Genji on the board.
Yeah, Orbital Strike is actually quite big there for Genji. It doesn't net any kills, but it buys some time, and it buys, more importantly, some space. That shot to come through from something was absolutely ridiculous, by the way. But the fact that there's some multi-kills coming out from Karen, some aggression through these smokes, some risks being taken for the side of Genji as well. But ultimately, right, a bit of a reset when it comes to that 55-second mark. Munchkin, Karen, they don't overpressure themselves, right? They don't push forwards and just try to get this round done and dusted there and then. They reset a little bit. And now you're switching into a new round where tree control back again. We've got the sheer wall up at Dish to just make sure it's watching it. This worked for Paper X last time, remember? And it's gorgeous to start off yet again.
Even with the camera and the trips, Paper X are still moving forward.
Ajarin Neon bang.
Just double keying it, as they've been known to do. Suggest tries to avoid by tucking himself in towards a main. Genji looking to recollect, regroup themselves, and re-engage into the A site.
Yeah, just to recontact back in towards it as well. Go through the sheer together, try and explode on in.
Wih, kosong
contact
guys.
play up towards it, but now
Kerjanya
I
main
see the
flank
problem,
kok
right?
main.
You've got into the site. Spike will eventually come from Dish because I think even Munchkin got trapped by the sheer wall, by the way. You go for the plant, but you've already got a Rex. It's here. That is ridiculous.
Just as you thought that they might have been able to get closer into the site, Karen into a deeper position, wipes the taste of blood off of his mouth, and finds punches back against Paper X.
Versus Genji kan?
Flashpoint as well, and all of a sudden,
saya aja diajarin main follow
turn his
sama
crosshairs away off of contact now. Karen swinging as well. Divine needs to save.
Yeah. Not even going to be able to. Some aggression from Texture. Carol, by the way, 1 HP to survive with that one. But, you know, 2 rounds attributed to Genji. Multi-kills for Karen, getting 2 kills yet again to really get them back in towards this round when you consider, you know, Paper X, W Gaming, straight up in towards the spawn, looking for it, just over, just not really, you know, calculating that they're going to be over on the rafters. So nicely done for Genji. I wouldn't be surprised actually if we want to take a bit of a timeout for Paper X soon. Wouldn't be too bad. You know, you don't want to afford Genji to get a wriggle on towards this attacking side. This is the round though that's haphazard, right, for Paper X. You're not going in with a sensational buy. You've got some exit strategies if you need to stall Genji, right? Oh.
Makasih loh, follow. Sorry lagi. Sebenarnya lagi low energy.
Not really able to stall currently, and a lot of oohs and ahs from the crowd as well with the war cry from before. But as I say that, Mindfreak, a bit of a push out from Dish will be able to pick off an unsuspecting Karen. That just might have splashed a bit of cold water onto Genji.
Semi sakit kayak ada kayak lagi mau sakit gitu. Ya salah lo. Abis kerja terus libur ya nggak Noir? Ya nggak Noir yang habis sakit juga. Gue ketularan Noir nih kayaknya.
I mean, if you're going to be tempted whatsoever to use a couple of these ultimates that Paper X do have, you know, one more kill, maybe you're going to dump them in, especially if Genji are going to try and play for the time here with their recontact back towards this A site.
Tapi nggak apa-apa.
Grouping up onto it. Utility now for the execute, and especially with Texture on this Neon able to get deep behind enemy lines. Paper nearby, salvos on both ends, fault line as well. But the orbital strike has been avoided. That is huge for Gen G. 20 seconds, and with enough numbers, they could still get the spike
There's still an Armageddon though. You have to bait out this Armageddon. There's 10 seconds and it's just going to be thrown in.
Trying to get their way through. Armageddon now deployed. And with that, no spike plant found. Gen G able to strike back. Paper X out of position. All the kills found in the round.
Yeah, not playing for the actual timing that the Armageddon can buy. Everyone trying to face the fights when that ult does go on down.
Current fracture Mapic PRX sih.
The cost of, you know, all of the ultimates being invested in that one as well, right? Orbital Strike, Armageddon, Steel Garden. A discussion now.
You might need a timeout off of that.
Oh, 100%. If you're not taking a timeout at this point in time,
but what do you say in this timeout? You got a minute. Surely you can't reprimand the players for this. Oh no!
I mean, you got to think of Paper X as well, right? What's been working? Some tree pushes where we're getting really aggressive with Forsaken. We're getting some great shots coming out, and for Gen G, we've seen, you know, a couple of moments from Karon who's been able to answer back, right? We're seeing them re-clear things after some early engagements. It's a slowdown effect for Gen G where they're really starting to play with time, right? It's the old Gen G style of you've got a beginning, a middle, and an end. And it's the beginning at the moment that Paper X are winning. It's just the end that they're not able to.
That's what it is. It's always been what it is. Think about that 10-13 from the first map, that 8-0 against DRX.
I mean,
the Paper X fan in me is crying, but the professional caster in me is trying to say, Gen G is just doing such a good job of recognizing Paper X's tendencies.
Well, the professional in me is saying that there are so many moments that we're seeing really good growth scenarios for both of these teams. That, you know, this is the caliber of gameplay. Had they come out in the first week, would have been cool. Right now, though, a lot of utility around arcade. No casualties just yet.
Until more flashes over. Paper X still looking a little bit antsy, trying to hunt down for some of these frags. Jing from the other end will be able to get that pinch up against two players. Texture though, deep in towards tunnel, still looking to get his way out. He's gone away with a couple of kills off his own.
Yeah, that Rolling Thunder actually out from something, not able to finalize Texture. You have the north side rat crunch from Paper X where now, let's flip it upside down. Let's see Gen G do it.
Yang di chat.
Guys, one of their own.
Plug your VTuber
of the round, the spike being dropped. Gen G needs to come back in to take these fights against Paper X, where Paper X are trying to retain their hold onto it. Jing has a full kit of smokes, deploys his first one.
The problem is, Jing can just reset them yet again, more so than Karon, so you have to go for an aggressive big mind freak. Gets bit.
Getting a little bit too curious, and you know what they say happens to that cat?
Zaki Puro.
Want the corpse? Give me the corpse. 20 seconds, give it to me!
That would be huge for Gen G now, wouldn't it? Something still close by. Finally, being able to get detected, still finds that frag. Jing off of the other side of boxes, finds Karon. Able to save themselves in this round in 5-3.
If Suggest was able to get off the neural theft, you know, would that have been a different ending towards the round? Would you have been able to start to spam through the box? Look, I don't know. It didn't happen. And Paper X, the early idea of getting the early aggression towards arcade, right? What did we just speak about? The beginning they've looked good in. It's the end that they've not really been able to finalize in those past couple of rounds where Gen G were able to string them together. This time, they were able to solidify the end of that one and hold on towards the lead.
Yeah, pull themselves back a little bit, hold on to that spike. Still though, the next round, Gen G will answer back with a little bit more aggression of their own, so a bit more space now, back up towards arcade. Possibly looking to get tower, but not quite yet. You've got Suggest all the way down tree. He might just get pinched though. Not quite in the spot to use the camera. And with that being taken out, now he knows. He has to regroup.
He knows his time is coming, but at that point in time, he's bought enough for his whole team to get in towards the B site. Nobody's home. There's no ultimates that you need to contend with on the side of Paper X. And you yourselves, well, hey, let's just have a little bit of a dance with our big ones.
Take some big steps. Throw Paper X off balance. So, but Paper X able to have some steps of their own as well until the Armageddon gets deployed. So Paper X needing to avoid that for now. Timer still ticking. Something though, his position could be pivotal for this retake. Flashpoint does buy a bit more time. More presence being made known, and Jing pushes up. The trade found by Suggest. Fault line sent through, but it's going to be Munchkin that finds the trades right back until something swings out from the left side. Still more frags found for Paper Rex to stick that defuse at the end.
A lot of the trades coming on through. I'm seeing a huge wrap through spawn from something, not able to assist his team, but eventually will come forward in the 1 versus 1. He will best
stream weekend.
Yeah, a bit of a counter breach.
Karena sambil kerja kalau weekdays, kalau sempet doang juga sih, weekend belum tentu stream juga kan. Kadang main Valo, kadang main apapun lah.
Moving around the map like Fracture as well, with all the different corners that you can play with and corners you can hide in. Never want to overlook them, which is going to be a big one right now, because if you're seeing this Sands control in towards A main for Paper Rex, they're going to have a potential massive wrap back towards this tree area again, where Gen G are looking to slowly go in towards.
Like you said, you know, that's what Paper Rex has been good with, the early start. You know, some of these wraps, we've seen that from the past 2 rounds now on opposite ends of the map. Now, a bit of a different pace, and it's a sudden peek out from Jing. Surely aware that Gen G are trying to pull off the B-split once again. The aftershock from something. Forsaken now from the back, and all of a sudden Munchkin and Karen need to watch out for many angles, trying to backpedal themselves towards tunnel, but Paper Rex just relentlessly chasing them down.
Yeah, unfortunately for Suggest there as well, the aftershock, he was not able to get out of it, and even throwing his hat in the ring, the neural theft to try and get all the information, well, it didn't really work out, right? A bit of a different look for Paper Rex, because they're not really aggressively getting A main control this time. They're just going a little bit slower for it, clearing it out with the stealth drone, and then getting the wrap later on. So I do like that they themselves have some different, you know, fast takes, slow takes in this map of Fracture.
Sometimes it's that variety that really throws off Gen G's expectations. Once again though, Gen G trying to go for the same site, 4-1 split this time.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on Mind Freak to be able to bunker down this B site by himself at the moment. Spotted out behind Ice, but being self-sufficient.
Alright, now to reposition against Texture as well. The overdrive will come in handy, but will it be enough for Gen G to truly get their way in? The sheer wall does buy a bit of time for the rest of the Paper Rex faithfuls to transition their way across the map.
Are they going to be aware of this top north side flank too quickly? I mean, you've not touched camera.
Oh, nice try itu susah.
This does allow for Paper Rex to truly get in. Suggest, unfortunately, a little bit of a ball being dropped.
Oh, Munchkin
Still
bisa.
now, Munchkin very much so alive. Hit by the fault line though. Jinx trying to hunt him down. Up for the one-on-ones. Munchkin dances around the boxes, and something will be able to trudge forward with the shorty, but the Red Bull clutch found by Munchkin.
Yeah, he answers back this time, able to win the 1 versus 1 against something, not drop it. When really Gen G needed to find something, right? You're starting to see Paper Rex get a good grasp on this defensive start from the beginning of the half. Couple back. You got Texture going in with the ultimate. He's on the relatively low HP, but I gotta wonder as well, right? On a map like Fracture, if you're playing a Cypher and you've got this really standard camera towards the north side, if you're not being proficient enough to check it whilst also layering in towards the side, I mean, getting snuck up on from north side, that can really hurt, and a lot of the fault becomes your own on that.
And it's still something that needs adjusting.
Yeah, but
of a different role.
Luckily enough, Gen G were able to still win it.
Maju doang taunya. Apa itu defense? Apa itu attacking?
Pull off the clutch. 4-7, maybe even 4-5-7.
Ini baru PRX yang kita kenal ya sih.
Interesting for Paper Rex if they do want to rip.
Dimajuin
there's 2
coba.
players here.
Wah, gila.
They do.
Ini dia. Ini dia PRX kita guys.
From last week, but here it goes. In with the frags and in with a lot of space being found and collected. Mindfreak even able to anchor down the B side as well. Everything going right for Paper Rex in this round.
Absolutely. 2 versus 5 for Munchkin and Caron, and well, now just make it 1 in Munchkin.
Sebelum buka.
Off of a bit of a timing, Mindfreak repositions into tower.
Pada lebaran kan?
So that's going to be now just Munchkin.
Lu mau sampai di FM cuy.
You would need a generational fumble from Paper Rex to be able to win this one.
I know we say that, but it's
no. It's not going to happen.
Generational fumble and a miracle. What's the story this time, Komodo?
Story? There isn't one. It's fine. There's no fumbles here. 8 to 4 half is really good from Paper X, I will say. Enough to set themselves up for the attacking side when you do consider that Forsaken has been finding his groove on how to play entry back in towards this roster, right? Waylay play was actually looking a lot better, even if there was, you know, some little fumbles on it, but on towards Neon, right? Is he going to be able to do a little bit better than Texture was able to do here?
Low energy.
We'll see once we swap over onto the second half. At least in the beginning, I mean, so far they were somewhat evenly matched. Just after the little bit of a timeout from Alex, that Paper X began to find their footing. Like you mentioned, it's all these early round aggressions, and Paper X have begun to tighten some of their plays a little bit more, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Gen G running one of the more common comps. You see a lot of teams run this one for a specific reason, right? No one really playing in towards the Vice with this assortment of agents as well. So we're going to see, hopefully suggest to not be a bit of a weak point as well for them.
He was good on the first map.
Yeah, that is 100% true, but changing it on towards the Cypher, you know, there's a lot of pressure on him to make sure he's getting assistances, and for Ash as well, what's his utility combo is going to be looking like playing on this
chill guy, Genji win.
Both teams kind of finding themselves into similar positions with similar circumstances. See how it all plays out in the second half.
Bisa Genji menang.
Please though for Genji. 4-1 stack closer to the B site.
Yeah, we're gonna have just another go at Arcade. Let's just restart the map.
Yeah, if we take a look at the heat map after this map, I mean, that's where all of the X's are gonna be. Genji in with the 4-step. Oh, the salvos though. The fault line as well, but Texture just able to sidestep off of it. Counter fault line as well. Karen coming in with a frag of his own. Paper X trying to call off the hit.
What just happened?
Into A.
There is only Ash here, so if you are able to best him, that would... Ooh, nice shot coming out. Yeah, corner of the wall. They'll get all the information, though, that Dish is still being played, so you've overwhelmed Ash, but already the rotation here from Texture.
Look at Texture. Kicking things into high gear, already into the site. Bit of damage found, but still the spike planted, and that would be nice in terms of economy for Paper X. That said, Genji still looking to find this retake. Interestingly enough, they make a lot of noise around the door, but with force in numbers, the flashes as well, they will find these 2 critical kills just to buy left. He might have the salvos. I don't think he's got enough in the frag department. Has to peek out, but he's being smoked off as well. Reloads, repositions, but Foots has been spotted, and that's gonna be Texture with the triple in the very first round in the second half.
Good idea at the very beginning of the round, right? You use all those combos of utility to gain some arcade control, and it goes 2 ways. You win the duels and you gain the space, or there's no one there and you gain the space anyways, and then you look for a wrap somewhere else, right? One of the big common things, especially on a pistol round, where you can play your breach flashes as well on top of those sewers. Really sharp shots to come out from them in these pistol rounds, not leaving any corners unchecked. Comes a little bit unwinnable for Device. So the way back in towards this map at the moment to bring things closer, pistol round towards Gen G. But for Paper X, I mean, we saw this in map 1 when they did get the plant down on the attacking side. They forced up, they won it.
Oh yes, they do. A lot of noise made already, though, and Genji will be happy to dump their utility right back into the choke point, and allows for Texture to reposition himself so comfortably. The triple found. The spike has been dropped. Munchkin right around the corner as well. Alongside Ash with the Stinger and the Spectre. Just Mind Freak. Full HP, sure, but 5 opponents off to the other end. Okay, we're gonna start things by opening up the door. That's a bit of a bold move, but a move that gets trumped nonetheless.
Don't need hard analysis in that one, Quack. That's just Texture shooting with the Guardian, with them all flooding out of the dish, of the drop. Just see it back again here. He does work around that wall and the pillar of the site quite nicely, I will admit. But, I mean, everyone just getting activated. That's a force buy for Paper X not gone their way. So if you consider the next time they're going to have their proper weaponry, well, it's going to be the round after this next one. And then you're just knocking at the door of Paper X, right? Trying to equalize things.
Is Paper X home?
Well, they have been so far.
Oh, we still have yet to see them in this second half. I gotta say that.
Tiba-tiba mereka nggak double gaming lagi.
Salvos right now for early aiming control for Genji.
Yeah, mereka they can sense the Bucky, I guess.
Gun, make things, one step more promising.
Wow.
Wow. Utility dump. paperX trying to find some headway, and it's going to be Forsaken in with a Bucky plays! Jing! Adding some assistance as well, jumps on over, low Munchkin, but Karen fights attack.
That's silly. Honestly, that is absolutely silly.
Still a bit more space though, and look at Jing, swaps over, hands the Bucky back in. And up around tower now, Munchkin, a little bit afraid to push up front.
They know they tag Munchkin as well. They know that.
So they're happy to stick around the corner, overstay their welcome as it were, because Gen G, there's no chance in hell that they're giving PaperX the boot. Suggest though, it certainly will try. So taking down Jing, but you've got 2 left.
Aduh, jangan kesan suggest.
Oh, nasty flick. And you've got a bit more utility as well, but that's not needed. Defy in with a Guardian. What a round by PaperX.
Yeah, that's a funny one, right? Who would win, the Bucky Boy or all of these better weapons? The positioning though, I mean, Ash was stunned up, so you got to give credit for that one, and then just mechanics on the ropes as well, juggling over different weaponry for PaperX, but getting in, right? They're hitting the funny shots, they're then settling themselves down, and the eyes are certainly on the prize. You know, it went from let's find some damage to hey, we can win this round, let's win it.
That's one of these like TikTok plays. Oh, you gotta love it when it happens.
Put the music behind it.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah.
Don't know what that song's called, but I know what you're talking about. Still though, next round comes up. PaperX not looking to slow down their pace whatsoever. Relay bolts from both sides, but now it's PaperX to go in for the quad peak. Munchkin gone. Ash out of position. Texture onto the other end to try to bail on his teammate. A double kill is not too bad, and that allows for Ash to refill that space. Re-peek once again. Suggest down from the top. Mindfreak trying to answer back in a one-on-one. Crouches. A bit of a tap, and Karen's down in the dirt.
Oh, Mindfreak, nice
1v1 going the way of PaperX this time. We keep trading them backwards and forwards. If you remember that the Munchkin something duels that we had on the last half as well. I think we've just seen like the trading of both relay bolts, of both special deliveries, fault lines. Like we want this Sands control at the moment, but unfortunately it's just, you know, Gen G wanted a re-1 time. They're not able to win that one.
Both sides not afraid to go in for that brawl, but currently PaperX have been successful.
Yep.
These trades. With that though, okay, we got an ult coming out from Texture. Trying to go in for the spams, but PaperX are happy to stick themselves together, watching each other's back shoulder to shoulder. Still though, out from the A main area, Suggest finds a double, PaperX answers back, it's just Ash left with the Sheriff. Damage found though, so it's still not too bad for Gen G. They are still in this fight, but at the end of it all, Komodo, you gotta admit, PaperX, they are close to that map point.
Yeah, 100% with being as proficient as they were in the previous couple of rounds. They are going to be all getting their ultimates in towards the next round, bar one. I mean, if Dubai picks up the orb, right, he gets the Armageddon, and then you've just got Mindfreak trailing a little bit. So these can be these really scary rounds. I wouldn't actually be surprised going into this next round, Quack, if we do see some sort of orb maintenance on the side of Gen G, right? Because I've just noted that they have 2 players that are close to a couple of their ultimates as well. And in this sort of situation, you need something big from Gen G to start to come back on this defensive side.
Agak costly
sih. I wonder what that could be though.
Janji tadi nge-save kan?
Ults for sure, but right now as the rounds play on, you know, it's been PaperX going for that sense control. Gen G tries to wrangle it back from them. PaperX still happy to play around south side of the map. So Gen G a little bit more respect now, but they are happy to peek all the way out just to check if PaperX are on the other end. Not too much in terms of the information department, and PaperX will find their entryway into the B site.
And to be able to get in here as well with not really needing to use too much of their ults whatsoever until that orbital comes on down, they're going to set themselves up nicely for this post.
Being able to block Gen G off. Oh, a bit of positioning from something as well, but look at that. Oh, he still takes the frag against Texture. Oh, he's for the trade, so not too bad. And that's going to be the Armageddon, you're right. Still need to find the right position, the right timing for it. One Armageddon out, another Armageddon back in from Defy. Mindfreak goes for the peak, Defy finds the frag, Forsaken out for the last one. PaperX to reach map point.
convincingly as well with how they've been playing this one so far. I mean, I think this is like one of my favorite things to say in this game of Valorant so far. Stunts are cosmetic. Doesn't really matter. Something's still getting that kill, using his Rolling Thunder just as he dies as well. But in the grand scheme of things, it does not matter because PaperX still get the round done. They still got it, and they've got 6 map points. They're sitting in a really comfy chair, laying back at the moment. It's padded. It's a good place to be for them.
Definitely shaking off those initial map nerves, and that diligent aim training paying off for something. I mean, he didn't let go of that target for not a bit. Now PaperX peeling off, straight back in with the A hit. Mindfreak finds the first, Forsaken now in with the next overdrive as well. And Genji looked to reclaim, but it's not quite happening, not yet. Oh my word, Steel Garden as well for Mindfreak.
Yeah. Able to actually gather it from the previous round in this round and use it, and
it feels as though everything is over.
Yeah.
Suggest Karen. You could have the neural theft. So trying to take their time with things, keeping themselves together. Neural theft deployed. PaperX still tries to keep them away.
Time
ticking. To play for the time of it. Yes, that's what that utility is for. Forces Genji to reclaim space again, but back up towards tower. That's where PaperX are all playing around. Here comes the utility once more. Karen out of position, so uncomfortable. Just to put PaperX back up on top of their own map pick. The final score on Fracture, 13-6.
Very confident looking map for PaperX in that one. Some really good ideas, some really good spawn side crunches, north side crunches, just getting really dirty. I mean, how many duels did we see where there's 3-4 people from each team just getting involved in these fights, and PaperX are coming on top or bowing out with an equalization? You know, they're really loving the scrap plays on a map like Fracture, but then still able to come out with these really good space takes as well, and a good beginning, middle, end. This new identity of PaperX. I mean, they're getting, you know, they're having to go through the reps on stage to try and figure out what is going to be working for them with all these different role swaps. But Forsaken, I mean, over the course of these 2 maps, he's really been set up by his team well. And I think that's really pivotal for this new little look for PaperX. And on the flip side for Genji on this map, right, I don't even think it's one of those problems where we've seen, you know, like Suggest be bullied or Ash be bullied, because there's a lot of moments where Genji, it's just, you know, everyone's not able to hit their shots. They're getting caught out with multi-peoples on PaperX. Like, yeah, they had some instances, sure, where things were looking good, but ultimately on this one, PaperX just looked far more better.
Yeah, I just can't get that round 15.
Ini ya, agent kan tuh, player mahal setelah Meteor. Apakah Karen akan dibajak?
It just looks so much better. So now, Komodo, we've had improvements from Genji in map number 1. We've had improvements from PaperX in map number 2. Where does that all lead us to? The very inevitable conclusion on the final map, where we see them all clash out. How's that gonna look? Well, we have to toss that over to our very lovely desk to break all of it down.
That's right, we've got a series on our hands between Genji and PaperX. PaperX wins on their map pick of Fracture, still looking comfortable as ever on this very dynamic map.
So much better from them, I have to say.
Banyakan mati
approach. I feel like they weren't playing afraid. We see absolute dominance in the first bloods there, 15-4. Yeah. It's near impossible to play the game when you never get that first kill. When you never get that clean entry, you're always on the back foot. So PRX made the game so hard for Genji there.
Yeah, they forced Genji to react to what their game plan was, and they clearly had an idea of exactly what they wanted to do. I mean, we'll touch on the aggression on defense, and we were kind of questioning their defense coming into this series, but particularly here on Fracture, a map that really suits their style. They're unafraid to be aggressive. It's a map that necessitates aggression on that defensive side, and PRX took full advantage of that. Outstanding game for Jing compared to what we saw on Lotus here on the controller. I mean, I don't know if that's a case of just iPad and then man with gun, you know, go kill some people, but he did a lot better on the controller this time around. Textured, I felt like kind of just did his best to try and carry the boys. He was looking really fired up on the Neon in particular. A lot of great multi-frags from him, but it just wasn't enough, and it's another game where I felt like Suggest and Ash on Cypher Teo, which is what we saw in their debut on Ascent, didn't work out too well for them. But to be fair, Fracture is a map that has looked weak for Genji, even going back to kickoff, so maybe they just haven't found the right approach on this map yet.
Yeah, I think they're still figuring it out, but I have to shout out Jing. By the way, you can steal this. If you only play Jet, you only play Reyna in your ranked games, and you need to fill smokes, play Brimstone. It's so easy. You can see this all the time. The duelists go across to Brimstone, you can frag. It's the simplest agent you have to think about. So much better performance. He should be settled into the series now. But we're moving across to Haven, where I would be surprised if we're going to see a Brimstone, but we'll touch on that later.
He could just only play Brimstone from now on.
I wouldn't say no.
Darnie, the beatboxer who has done a track for APAC before, only exclusively plays Brimstone. But he's really good at shooting, so it seems to work for them. They did get, what, 15 first kills on this map as opposed like, to the 4 on Genji. It is absolutely insane. Haven, now, you know, we can't even get to Haven yet because there are some highlight moments we need to talk about on this map. And one thing that we were concerned about was the attack side and defense side for Paper X.
Yeah, defense side in particular, I think we mentioned it at the start of the series, but they only got 6 rounds on defense. What is the answer to not a good defense? I mean, a lot of people say the best defense is a good offense, and that was Paper X's approach definitely here on Fracture. They were running it down, a lot of top side, bottom side crunches, and at the end of the day, it did a lot of good work for them. They found a lot of opening kills, and you saw that in the initial kind of highlights at the end there, where you did have like 15-4 or something like that at the end of things.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is why this map has been so good for them. Fracture is a map where you cannot be static on your defense, and that was their problem last week. So we see them not being afraid to get aggressive, and it's a much better look for them. That's what I want to see them continue.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you saw players like Suggest being bottom side, getting kind of isolated. They ran at him on the bonus round. Here again, you see like a little tree take, and they're just really trying to sandwich him. They're forcing him out of position. And then, what do you even do against this? It's Ash and Suggest bottom side. You're getting breach, brim ulted, and crunched, and run out with a neon ult. Like,
that's a hands off the keyboard. Yeah, I'm dead, guys.
We saw that, I think, in Masters Bangkok as well. I think T1 was one of the teams they were playing. But man, just throwing out all your ults at spawn, whew, what a way to end it.
There's nothing you can do. It's one of those rounds you just go, yeah, okay, we'll move on.
Go arcade, guys. Dish, go dish now, please.
Well, Jing is our MVP. Nice to see him back on the board again, playing this. And you guys pointed out, he just looks a lot more comfortable in the Brimstone than the Omen. And like you said, there's a lot more that you kind of need to work with the Omen and working together with your team here. But yeah, I like it. Stim Beacon Jing.
Yeah, I mean, it's so nice. Jing is a fragger, and he's at his best at top speed. So Stim Beacon's probably a nice little ability for him. He probably quite enjoys it. But yeah, massive respect for him. He turned it round from that one in the series, which is difficult to do. So we just hope he can settle in for this third series. As we say, it's going to be on Haven. Barring changes, he'll be back on that Omen, but he needs to bring some of the character that he just showed in that map too.
Okay, both of these teams need to work on their Haven based on the performance you saw last week. Genji was playing against Boom and DRX versus Paper X. And Paper X, we were talking about it with Alex here. We have to acknowledge the first 8 rounds. Awesome on the attack. But now, Genji will be starting on the attack side for Haven. I think they know that too, that, you know, Paper X hasn't figured out their defense. Well, at least last week anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I still have to say I'm quite worried for Genji. I mean, they've been running this Viper for a long time, and I felt like Boom massively exposed it in a way. You know, Genji are not a team known for that crazy innovation moving forwards and pushing the meta. They love this Viper. They've been running it for a long time, but that means there's a huge bank of information available on you. Even swapping to the Teo, it's a slight difference, but it's not massive. And I felt like Boom were able to exploit that.
Yeah, to some extent. I think Paper X looked a little bit too one-dimensional on that attack after the first 8 rounds. You got some good adaptation coming in for DRX, and then they just really didn't figure out their defense. I think defense can be a little bit tricky to play with the Yoru comps as well. It's a lot around TP timings. It's a lot around using the Yoru well and hiding what your setup is. You know, you could have a breach trap on one side and the Yoru kind of with a TP on op. One team that just does that phenomenally well at the moment is T1. They're a nightmare to attack into because you just never know where Buzz is going to be. So I think if PRX can, you know, use full advantage of that, that will work a little bit better for them. And I think One thing, at least for Fracture and going into this map, is that it really does feel like these roles are completely solidified inside Paper X. If Jing is not playing Raze on Fracture, if you're seeing the same roles on a map like Fracture, we can be a little bit more flexible in terms of who's playing what. I really do think this is what you're going to see for Paper X for the majority of this stage. But you always have to keep in the back of your mind as a team that prepares for them or someone that watches them as well, that they can also shift into that other style at some point if they need to.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of flexibility, right? You know, that kind of old school style, even if they want to play more double initiator, the ability to run it down will never go away. It's like riding a bike, you know? They just need to be told, yeah, guys, we're just going to go loose on this game.
Just rolling it down a hill like this.
So they still have that in their back pocket, but I wouldn't expect to see that yet. I think they are trying to redefine themselves in a way, become more structured, become more consistent in their roles, and, you know, I guess we'll see how it goes for them in map 3 if they do stay with that style.
Yeah, I am a bit curious about it. I can't see why they wouldn't, though. Look, they had a solid first half. I've joked about it with Alex. I'm like, it looks like your Haven's kind of half crap, and he got a little defensive about it. So maybe they'll fix it on the second half here, and they have no choice going against Gen.G. Gen.G has the same problem as well. Now, Achilles has said this a couple times coming into today, that this is probably the hardest one for him to predict, near 50-50 for Gen.G versus Paper X. I know how we, as a talents, ultimately mostly going for Paper X. The Korean side, similar, but the other way around, more of them picking Gen.G. How do you guys feel about your predictions? You predicted Gen.G today. Pilsky, you predicted Paper X. How are you guys feeling?
I feel okay about it. I'm a little bit worried in a sense, because I do feel like Paper X are fixing up their defender sides, and I wasn't too impressed with Gen.G's Haven. I would like to see some innovation there, but I'm not expecting it. So I'm a little bit worried that this map 3 might be a little bit too readable, but you know, I think it will all come down to how it gets played out, and I think it will be more about that PRX defensive side.
I don't know what to expect from either teams. I feel like both of them are a little bit inconsistent at the moment, half to half or even map to map. So it really just comes down to who is going to turn up on the day. We don't expect either one of these teams to be pulling out those pocket picks. These two teams are very much still in the developmental stage where they're working on their teams. And in the case of Gen.G, they're going to stick to what worked last time or what didn't work, but looked potentially promising, I would say. Suggest looked better on the Killjoy than the Cypher. They're still keeping texture on the Neon, which he did great on Fracture on as well.
Yeah, PRX, we're seeing the same comps, but we are seeing Jing across on the Teo, Divide on the Cypher, Mind Freak back onto the Omen.
Wow.
So we are seeing this kind of role changes there, which seems slightly unusual to kind of put the same role swap. I mean, I don't hate this in a way. I think bringing Mind Freak back to Omen makes a lot of sense. Now, Jing onto Teo, now this is wildly different. That plays very differently. I'm a little bit confused as to why you wouldn't change the whole comp, but we gotta wait and see. They know more than me.
That is so crazy. You guys have made a really good point. It's the same exact comps, but different people playing it. That could change everything. We're gonna send this back to our casters to close out this series, Gen.G versus Paper X. It's none other than Komodo and Quack.
Thank you very much, Victoria. Yep, you still got the Komodo and Quack, but still also Gen.G versus Paper X. The desk has mentioned it. They've been a little bit upsy-daisy, but all down to this final map where Paper X have swapped around the roles. How will this look now?
I mean, it's the same if you hide all of their names, right? So it should play the same way, but whether or not we've got more comfort now that Mind Freak is back on towards his fabled Omen. I mean, we've seen Divide play Cypher before, we've seen Jing have a Teo.
Well, at least for now, though, starting things off with a very
interesting,
aggressive takedown C-Long. So Altor picked up. You got the gate crash back in to refill A possibly if needed. And that's also why Gen.G trying to be a little bit cautious with this push in.
Yeah, but they're going to get in towards the site, and there's going to be nobody home, right? No traps that they're going to walk into. There's just a camera that you can use a little bit later on from Divide. So a good old-fashioned 5v5 A-site retake.
Limit gue main tuh kayak cuman 2 game, 3 game kayaknya.
Divide on the Cypher,
gampang
up in
capek.
heaven, for the main point of entry, up by A-Link. Heron already blocking off the exits, and that's going to be the couple attacks. Look at that, the double tap up to the top as well. Texture has everything locked down. Just Jing being able to find a little bit of a consolation prize with the round. Very much in the hands of Gen.G. Karen. Risky dive. The pickup by Jing nonetheless, but still round ultimately picked up by Gen.G.
Yeah, getting in towards that A site, setting up the poison cloud far forward towards the entry as well. You know, you can kind of refresh both smokes there between himself and Charon if it's really slowly played by Paper X. So they know they have to get activated quite early, and it's all going to come on the back of when that camera's opened up and spotted out some members on the site, right? But unfortunately for them, if you're not being proficient enough to find any of these Gen G members in the beginning of the round, well, they're all alive to just belittle you on the side itself. So it's a good little pistol to come out from the Korea side.
Mana bisa main.
And now to see no force buy from Paper X, because they're not on the attacking side and getting the pistol round. But on this defensive side, trying to command some space up through lobby and surprise Munchkin here.
It's also the fact that Paper X didn't find too much in the first round, so they can't truly afford too much if they want to go for force buy. But they are happy to triple swing in. Gate crash as well for Forsaken, and that's going to be Suggest rearing his sights. Does find the frag. Now finds himself somewhat swarmed. Every Paper X player converging into his position. It's just a ghost though, so not too big of a loss. And Gen G are happy to get that spike down on C.
Yeah, eventually Jing's going to have the salvos back online, but they're just going to line up for texture.
That's some armor-piercing rounds that he must have equipped, Komodo. Vault line out from something. But ultimately for Paper Rex to try to find some taps, it's not quite gonna go through. Salvo's in, something with the Marshall. Does find a bit of a tap.
Is that?
Oh, wait, what?
Hang on.
Double kill. Aaron still trying to be careful. Jiggy with the jump peek. Look at Mind Freak's something's crosshair placement. Oh, he comes back into it. Finds every kill. No defuse, but he's happy with that one.
Okay.
Oh, Gen G, they get the round, but at what cost? Something's able to escape with the 3 kills. Phantom as well, so that's an upgrade in towards the next rounds.
Halfway to his rolling thunder.
Yeah, and you're going to see on this defensive side as well quite the prowess with an outlaw in this sort of scenario as well, because as Gen G, how are you playing this bonus round, right? Are you more favoring the lesser weaponry to have a salvageable situation, a bit of a half fire? We can maybe get this round. If we don't, it is the bonus round.
Wow.
So it's a wise idea for somebody like Forsaken to come out with an outlaw in this round that'll mince out a couple of these players.
Okay. Waduh.
Apart from that, Gen G, if you're in their shoes now, you're constantly worried about what Paper X might throw your way. So taking things a little bit slower than before, trying to work with this Viper as well, the toxic screen that
lanjut main, guys.
We've seen when you're running a Viper on this map and this cut towards the B side as well, how you try to play around it, how you try to get these lurks happening, and Forsaken's just read into that one. There was a lot of Cypher util here, Quack, as well. It's still here.
Once again with the Shrouded steps up behind. Something finding the trade, has to answer back. Texture has the angle, has the positioning with Bucky. Mind Freak, though, trying to get ahead. Will be able to track down his first target, the second one as well. And now to just Suggest. Out from the open lanes of mid. Oh boy, the fake out.
Nice.
Put the mollies on.
Right, hit by the flash. Will burn down the timer just by a bit, but still, that came a little bit close.
It looks very close there, doesn't it? I was going to say, it's a 1 versus 2. It was a 2 versus 3. A bit of ill timing from Jing to be able to get out that drone when he's on the side itself. So these are going to be some sort of teething issues with him going on more of an agent than his,
his first debut
utility. He has played it one before, so it's just going to be teething issues. That's the biggest thing for him right now, right? Timing on utility. We've seen it be a bit of a plague for him when he was playing it over last time. So again, it's really big learnings for this whole team. And in this sort of round as well, right? That was the bonus round to come through from Gen G. How close do they make that one look when Charon's just playing at the back side, getting all that damage?
Jangan muter-muter gitu.
One of those things that Paper X will have to.
Something kan high sense, lupa gue.
Right now, at least, Karen and the Shrouded step. They kind of missed each other until Forsaken turns upwards. A lobby control, but Gen G happy to trade right back.
They've just won every duel around the map essentially here.
We didn't get to catch too many of it either.
They all happened at the same time. And then Texture's just there to close out the round. So sometimes that does just happen. Paper X trying to get a little bit too aggressive over at A, a little bit too jump spotty at C, and then you already have Gen G on the line. That one is a little bit rough. So what do you got going for you as Paper X in this next round? I mean, are you going to feel hungry enough to use a Dimensional Drift to try and find any space on this defensive side to get an advantage? You've already proven that you're being able to do that with just a little bit of the lesser utility over through A before getting traded out by Genji.
Roger that.
Semua pada bawa energi pada puasa apa gimana?
Now, having
biasanya kan Genji juga
a lot of the early round aggressive
high
play
energy
from
gitu loh. Kangen. Mereka udah nggak se
so keeping themselves grouped up early on in towards window. Paper X with the stack in towards A lobby.
Yep. Gamble stack towards A. See if the strength in numbers approach is going to be able to do anything for them when they hear all this utility coming up. You're going to potentially go for the flank. I wonder if they're just going to dark cover the alarm bot and sneak by, or if they're just going to trip it. So it will be trips. So the idea for Genji, they know the flank's coming.
Paper X, they might have some ultimates, but they're not quite able to deploy them. As you mentioned, Komodo, all of these trips and everything being red, Texture trying to get ahead of it as well.
Very nice.
Now with that, okay, a bit of a phantom picked up. Still could find a couple more, both jumping together at the same time.
Jing. Okay.
But 11 HP.
Yeah, and the time's still ticking against him.
Now you know where Karen will be with his flash.
Oh, the flash at close range though. Karen still in and quick with the dolphin dive on the classic right click.
Gets close, man. It's another round that gets really close to the way of Genji. I mean, you got to be a little bit more cautious if you're just going in towards these fights technically at a deficit, right? Genji, in a lot of those fights, they weren't in the stronger numbers in the very beginning.
Nice try.
What if the classic didn't work for Karen there? What if, you know, it's always the question. What if? Question mark. Now you're going into a fresh round where the guns are back for Paper X and they have picked up 2 extra ultimates to be able to get another round on this defensive side, setting up their Cypher more proficiently towards the C site.
Tahu aja Munchkin.
Trying to creep up front. Genji with a bit of noise off to the other ends, but Forsaken definitely needing to respect what could be very well on the other side.
Quite the slow one from Genji as well, right? Paper X, they've had to contend with a lot of ups and down plays between slow and fast. This time, though, there's going to be a big test on towards Main Freak on this C side.
He's already tossed out the Paranoia as well. Cages up, salvo sent all the way through. Now the Armageddon coming out from Jing. It does somewhat keep, oh, well, Genji at bay until the Strata steps through. Munchkin and everyone else have been able to flood in the side once again. Jing, the only one left. Even with ult spent, not quite able to convert the round. Genji look near unstoppable right now.
Yeah, the timing on that suppression as well as the backside, not able to Shroud and step out. He still manages to get a kill before being traded out. But ultimately, I mean, a lot of those ultimates being exchanged around the C site, the Armageddons providing a little bit of space. Genji getting a lot of the crossfires at the end of it and sneaking Munchkin in towards window as well. I mean, you watch back on these replays at the moment and just the Genji guys dripping that kill feed in red. Eventually, they'll target towards the spike plant. The round gets done with the extra kill. So you got to have a discussion now. You have to have another talk as Paper X.
Can't escape it. We can coulda, shoulda, woulda all we want, but the scoreline is what it is. And Genji are just doing a phenomenal job at reading Paper X's plays currently.
Yeah, I mean, one of the massive weaknesses that we saw from Paper X against DRX was this defensive side, right? They got a single round, it was a defuse that they came into it, and apart from that, DRX on that double duelist, right? That opened up them to have a lot of different options for some later flanks, for some quick dives. This is a different look, right? Genji, the nature of their play right now with their agents, it plays a lot differently, but they're still really just layering their approach. They're getting their duels, they're getting their trades. Paper X is trying to find a lot of this space heavily towards the A site early on in this map, and whilst Forsaken has, you know, won a couple of those duels, how often has that just been mitigated almost immediately?
That's all thanks to, once again, Genji just recognizing what Paper X are trying to execute. So coach's intervention and Paper X look to, well, show Gen G some different looks.
Yeah,
it is an eco.
That's it, right? It's an eco. Gen G are not getting too overconfident to just rush anywhere at the moment. They're seeing if Paper Rex are going to throw anything their way, if there's going to be any mid-control, anything up through the wings of the map. That's why you'll see the alarm bot positioned over towards the C side at the moment. The slower progression through towards A.
Oh, Paper Rex.
Oh.
And again, with time elapsed, they go back to well, what they're comfortable
Ooh.
with. The stack up. Gen G, however, not a full commit.
Yeah, all the utility that's just been expended for Paper Rex.
Keeps Paper Rex on this A site.
Yeah. And now you're just going to be able to waltz up towards B. If you want to stretch it in towards C, you possibly can as well. This is where you can, use your Viper's wall as well to this B site. You could still technically even have a lurk if you wanted to, so something going to be interested for either lurk control or flank play. It's going to be the latter now, with the plant and the pit to the B site.
Well, the first thing is that you have to deal with texture, maybe the second player as well, Ash. Happy to watch his team's 6.
Semua ulti keluar buat
Just to
para...
flush him out of position as well, and Paper Rex should anticipate where he is, but still, with the flash, Forsaken not quite able to convert. Ash will continue to remain as a thorn in Paper Rex's side.
Wait, jago banget.
And another obstacle in with the Viper's Pit as well. The triple from Ash dealing significant damage.
Kena.
Divide with 1 HP.
Gila lo.
Be a good
Wah,
little domer, but still, that's the round.
6 on the board for Gen G. I mean, one might argue it's an eco and they've invested a Viper's Pit and a lockdown, but they're navigating these rounds well, right? They're trying to 100% them after you consider that there's been a couple where they've had one soldier, no soldiers remaining, right? They want to try and 100% these rounds to make it a little bit cleaner for them in the next couple. They still have to manage their own economy at the end of the day as well. No one's swimming in cash just yet for them.
Oh, mana PRX yang tadi,
Maybe Karen,
guys.
but, there's no 9k caps.
Star Boss
Still,
itu.
the scoreline is what it is. Paper Rex having some ultimates in their pockets right now, but Gen G once again slowly stretching their legs down mid. Trying to find some trips. Trying to bait out more reaction from Paper Rex. It's just texture. Pull back all the way through, but with the trip, Divide will punish. Still though, Gen G off of the contact, straight in from Garage. Rolling Thunder collapsed in full. Divide looking for an opportunity to strike, but Munchkin denies it outright. Gen G has the sight. Something still trying to hold out from C-Link. Forsaken trying to create some chaos with the flash out from Garage. Finds a couple out from Jing as well, and that's Ash gone. Paper Rex able to strike back.
Quickly in towards that retake as well. What
energi banget loh.
Have been thought of a B play, turning in towards a C play. And in the chaos, Paper Rex, I mean, they weather it through. Forsaken, right? Taking it a little bit individually. He got some assistance from the salvos that come out on towards the site to force the Gen G members into a spot of bother. Some good repositions as well from Gen G around that site when they're trying to establish a plan, I will admit, but it's the little later on part, right? It's just having Jing and Forsaken, the chemistry that's been built for so long, able to quickly just fashion something together.
Still need a lot more of that. Gen G building up to some of their own ultimates as well.
Yeah, Paper Rex changing it up this time, putting Divide towards the A site by himself, but sneaking Forsaken up through grass, and that is not how you want a round to start. He's by himself, right? How much did we see suggest, die last time, or just a peek out of Garage from an individual?
Yeah, that's going to leave a mark, Komodo.
I think it was Flashback who was peeking out Garage a lot that was being taken out when these two guys played.
Just a week ago. But still, we've got Divide up on the A site. His trips allowing him to find a single pick. Armageddon deployed, allowing for Gen G to get the spike down safely. Drones out from Paper Rex though, and they're looking to play off of the timing of things. Divide with the flood back in, takes down Karen. Ash in around the cage though, finds the trades! It's a triple for the player, and it's just Mind Freak left. Suggest to close it out.
Again, another quick attempt at a retake, this time before the spike has even been planted for Paper Rex. So Gen G able to dance around the site, using those cages quite nicely is Ash, and just doubling on down. That's a huge risk at the very beginning from Forsaken to go out by himself, by the way, so you might want to reel that in a little bit later on, or really now, right? Because for PaperX, you're trailing behind quite significantly. This defensive side is still plaguing them. So on the new round, what differences are we going to look for them? Are we going to see some mid-control attempted? Salvos, going to buy some time for any little peekings out garage, but you're going to already just have to sit here.
I didn't miss anything.
Of how close Gen G are gathering this mid-control.
Cepatlah.
He wants it. He so wants it.
Game cepetan. Wah, buka nih.
Risky though. Munchkin happy to play with the economy as well and outline this round. And Gen G just once again waiting for a single peep out from PaperX. The drone confirms that there is a bit of presence in garage, and that pushes the rest of them happy to push into the A site. Still though, with the peeks out, there's a trade, maybe a weapon picked up.
I mean, every time we've seen silence around this A site, you know PaperX are not playing there whatsoever, right? So Gen G eventually should recognize this and have to turn around to watch the flags. Forsaken again! Just cannot get anything happening here.
Well, Devi at least will come here to pick up pieces, so in with the Sheriff, but that texture out towards A-Link.
Wow.
And also off to the ace, Devi only able to find the one. Gen G will continue with this forward momentum.
Yeah, Ash's assistance is looking pretty phenomenal at the moment. I'm not going to lie, whether or not it's good timing on the early salvos or he's just being a body to be able to watch other angles for the names like Texture at the moment. I mean, he's really looking a bit proficient on this map specifically. And then you still got some, you know, great timing on all of these smokes and assistive utilities to come in from Karen as well. I mean, Gen G, they've certainly adjusted things in the middle of this game in the weeks difference that they had from the previous one.
Certainly doesn't look or feel too good when Forsaken's not able to find too much, but here comes the operator, able to find the first, tries to go in for the next as well, but Devi is here and able to assist. Ooh, not quite the gate crash, but still, Karen steps over. Devi finds him, quick to react and quick and aware. Just Munchkin left. Tries to deliver the spike all the way over onto A, but PaperX happy to play with numbers.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a 1 versus 4. There's no pit available for Munchkin either, but you get the orb, you get the plant. That's an extra 2. That'll let you go 2 away towards the pit. You've got a minute to play with as well. These are the sort of scenarios that can really showcase value in an individual. If you're able to find a kill or 2 before getting a plant, for example, but for PaperX, they are just not giving it to him. Now they know it's planted at A. The question is, Munchkin, how many kills do you get?
Because if he gets enough, that could be a pit, and that could be
strong
opportunity. Next round as well, namely that. Might give Gen G the 9 and 3. Salvos at least, just in case, but ultimately PaperX has the site currently. Munchkin though, happy to play out the first. PaperX now in for a bit of trouble, but what is that spray? Oh, he's getting the transfer, he's getting the last one as well! The Red Bull clutch! Munchkin devours PaperX in whole!
What did I just say? It's the individual moments that can certainly showcase us champions, right? In these sort of scenarios, it's a 1 versus 4, man. They didn't technically even peak individually. Yeah, sure, something did first in the beginning. All right, you give him that. Now we know where the guy is. But you're in a dark cover. 1, 2, the spray transfer there. Jin comes out the exact same angle. He doesn't need to move his crosshair, man.
He doesn't need to move his crosshair. Kenapa mereka sama itu semua?
That one
Ada yang surprise ke atas
down to the last of the first half.
Shredded into pieces.
Cheer. Untouchable.
PaperX.
Back to the slow play. Putting Forsaken to be individual over towards the A site to try and hold a forward line with the Guardian here. Okay, a difference, Quack, a difference. He gets the opening kill.
Lashes out over as well and looks for a little bit more, but still
traded.
Punished once again. No gate crash found.
If you're able to now as Gen G get into this A site that's open as well, you set yourselves up a Viper's Pit.
Okay, at least starting to read more of Genji's tendencies now. They've sussed out suggests lurk. And a quick read into the A site. They should have the timing, but the salvos from Ash throws it off. Devi at least able to find a bit of spray through a tight angle. Munchkin though, off that clutch from before, pulls out the pit, denies possible entry.
30 seconds.
Rears his crosshairs over to the top of heaven and finds the crucial double.
How has he found both there?
Just Mind Freak now. And with that pit still up, I can't imagine Mind Freak able to do too much. He doesn't have to flash either.
Mind Freak, mau gimana lu?
At least tries to work his way into the pit, eliminating the first obstacle around the back.
All the decay now.
Yep, just a single whisper and he's gone. Munchkin, the rest of them all playing around the spike. Straight through the dark cover and it's way too simple. Slim pickings for PaperX and Genji. Happy to end this first half 10-2.
Done it again, another 4K for Munchkin. He has just had some big step-up moments in those two, hasn't he? I mean, the beginning, that's a first blood for Forsaken, but then gets hungry for some more, traded out. Yeah, you got something stretching on towards Suggest, but I mean, when that pick goes down, it's just Munchkin, isn't it? 4 big kills. I mean, Jing, that's rough. You've kind of just been accidental jumping in towards your teammates, well, technically corpse as it happens just there. That's a big scoreline difference, mate. That's what that is, 10-2. I mean, we know that the defensive side was a worrisome side for PaperX, but it's the first half here, right? It means that on this switch up, if you have any faults, if you drop the pistol and the second round, which are arguably, you know, the weaker ones, right? That's already 12. That's map point. That's series point for Gen G. It has to start now, and you've really not given yourselves any breathing room.
Almost feels suffocating if you're in
100%. I mean, for
PaperX right now.
For Gen G, right? They're one of the teams that we're thinking in this group alpha to be top 4. I mean, a lot of people would say for PaperX as well. We're staring down both of these teams winless right now. One of these teams will go 0-2.
And that's what you've really got to think about. That's what Alex could be thinking about as well. But you just don't have that much time to worry about all of these little concerns.
Yeah, I mean,
you need to turn this map around. Yes, Group Alpha, you lose this, and that could impact the rest of your performance in this season. And Gen G are just bursting at the seams to bring this to its conclusion.
There's a lot of pressure on this pistol round for PaperX, man. Like, this has to 100% be theirs. They've got to get the bonus round. Like, that's just so much.
Oh, look at Gen G. Setting up huge traps, a bit of pinch in towards this A lobby position as well, in case PaperX decides to disrespect this smoke.
And they're not really all hanging around that either.
Oh, here it comes though. Gen G, the slow creep out, and they have all the protocols in place to find the trades. Jing finding a bit of a punish as well. With that, something with the support to push out. Forsaken finding the frag, but Ash! Off of the flashes, the little corner unchecked. He finds a double. And remember, something with low HP getting the spike down.
Ash is not the person that tags something as well, right? So you got to consider how much damage has been done towards him. 20 HP. Fault line going to come online eventually, but Ash has just used his salvos, so he's not going to have them for this one. It's going to come down to timing and
positioning.
A bit of luck.
Where could they be? Something considering thinking about it. Spots him by the little sliver, quick with the reaction. Shoots down in the corner for a bit of mental boost as well, but PaperX happy to take that one.
I mean, you needed it, right? You absolutely needed it. Does it incentivize you as Gen G, though, here for this next round when you know, they're 10-2, 10-3 up right now? It's a 1 versus 1 at the end of it. Do you go for a force? If you're playing towards the numbers and you're doing 2024 Gen G things, you want to play to your strengths, right? So just take this round for what it is. It's an eco, and then have your big old guns in the next one, and that does look like what is going to happen.
Well, at least happy to see some of these smiles, especially on Something's face. He's happy to try to keep that forward. Salvo straight in for quick A main control.
Yep. See if they can continue to keep on going here, and if Ash and if Karen are going to do anything over here.
Look at texture up by mid, though. You've got the trip, so...
Yeah, you can't really get past that, can you?
Trying to keep our eyes on that at least, but still Forsaken to get deep back behind sight. Forsaken with the Stinger kill to start things off. Fault line out, but Ash with a nasty right click. Instantly in for the punish. Another dive from Karen, but Devi will be able to convert. Finding Ash now as well. So that's a safe site, a safe plant. Devi hearing the footsteps off the other end. Feeling the punch from Texture Sheriff now, but at least positions made known. Mind Freak for the swing, in with the support from something. Suggest still able to at least sneak a kill off. It's not impossible. Mind Freak is down quite low, but in with the sprays out the sides of the smoke. And Suggest repositions.
If you can get Mind Freak here, I mean, you're pretty happy. Otherwise, you just go up with the spike.
Just need to spray him down, though. So back off to the other end. Forsaken now onto the Vandal will be able and happy to take Suggest.
I mean, the bonus rounds now, Quack. You really need to see this flawless run from Paper X that they started off with against DRX reenacted here. 8 in a row is what we're going to kind of be chasing.
Wow.
And then you'd be tying things up if you consider the first 2 that they've already accumulated, right?
Do they have it in them? At least we're seeing them kind of shirk off all these worries and concerns. So now, even with a bit of a half bias, Stinger or Bulldog, Paper X happy to stare down Gen G's barrel. Gen G, though, repositioning across the map.
You'll bait out a little bit of this utility from Suggest nice and early to give you a avenue back in towards Garage if you want later on. Just the patience from Paper X at the moment. Not seeing any overeager players of Gen G give up their hand early.
How are you going to work around this utility?
Well, he's going to try and do a dry with the spike, lose his life, get traded out, and shift in towards the C play.
And that's another trade out from Munchkin as well. So the C play, unfortunately not quite working out too well for Paper X in this round.
Why do we have a spike on Forsaken who's leading in towards Garage?
Isn't that the question?
Because how do you retrieve this?
Whatever it is now, definitely is Gen G leading the round, leading the scoreline as well, 11-4.
You've got one more kind of fault that you can have in this map as Paper X, and then it needs to be the flawless run for an overtime.
Wow.
It's a little bit bleak for them. That was the bonus though, remember. So if you do think about that one, they got enough to go at this next round. If you try to pace things a little bit together as a team, right? All 5 members towards this A side of things. Jing a little bit lesser equipped here. Devi, no shields behind the Vandal. So it does look a little bit weaker for them for sure, but at least you'll start to get a bit of pressure towards this A site, right? You're already making a couple of these Gen G members scurry on over.
Yeah, shake it off. Still though, the pressure. That's what I'm thinking. Paper X at least just looking to improve and solve as much as possible.
I mean, it's this point in the round as well that if you are Ash, you can use that drone down long, down sewers, you can get some significant information, but there's already an idea that this is territory that you don't occupy, right? So eventually he'll throw it. They're a little bit too close for comfort, so you know this is where the hit's coming down.
So a bit of information for Gen G, very well informed. Karen still in a great position to answer back. Spike drops, and he still finds another. Paper X still trying to break their way out of this A-long position, but Texture with a single tap takes down Mind Freak. Devi might have slipped through the kill. Karen left and unanswered. A quad kill picked up, and it brings Gen G to match and series point.
Big time with the big G, Gen G. I mean, he's had something here. At the end of the day, there's still a core 3 dynamic on this roster with some world-class coaches. Sometimes that might just be enough, as Quack has got his head in his arms. As one of the longer Paper X fans.
Need your support, Komodo.
My support? I mean, what colors am I wearing, Quack? Is that not support for Paper X enough?
That is true. I mean, to those who might not have seen Komodo, I mean, he is wearing purple, something slightly purple and pink, Paper X colors, basically. But all that said and done, this is still the score.
Yeah, I mean, Paper X, again.
And HSK chuckling away.
The biggest thing, man, is like defensive side Haven, you can have ideas and stuff, but it's just a position that it's not favorable for Paper X. Again, risking to float it here in this series against Pearl. One might, you know, have a thought, would Pearl have been a better option to go for in this series? We'll never know. We're not in that timeline.
VRX.
But they're on the attack, right? They had great macro ideas on how to play that side against DRX. They've got great ideas on how they were doing attack things, you know, on Lotus, on Fracture.
But not before not having to be in this spot where they're up against series point before.
Yep.
So again, it's a bit of that pressure and a lot of chances for Gen.G. And with those chances, Gen.G happy to take some risks as well. Pushing down C, taking a bit of pressure off of one side of the map. Paper X, though, trying to keep themselves bunched up. Straight into Garage again, though. A quick punish from Charon.
Sampai jumpa di turnamen lainnya.
Little by little for Paper X. I mean, divide down.
Kalian kok gitu sih fans? Oh,
look at him! Just look at him.
Turns away off. How is he still alive? How is he still alive and going? Overdrive back in, and that's some damage done. Paper X trying to scramble for some defenses, but Charon's here again to deliver them to their doom. The final score of the series, 13-4, 13-4 on Haven.
And for the first time after 16 straight games in a row for Suggest, he has finally found himself victorious.
Lemes tuh. Tadi padahal keren di Fracture
scoreline. That's a statistic that you have to be happy about. Gen.G.
Kayaknya either Munchkin atau Karen sih. MVP-nya. Sampai MVP habis itu gue rate ya.
But coming into this very first map of the series today, they shook a lot of that off. Suggest finding the lurks, Ash in with incredible support on the Teo.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, massive differences this week compared to last week as well, right? For those two newcomers to the Gen.G roster. For Paper X, though, it's the tear out the corner of your eye again, right? You got another series that's going to a 3-mapper, and it's just not working for them when it matters the most right at the end.
The results are what they are. But well, it is still early in the season. We shall follow forward with every single player's journey. Sometimes you gotta be a bit of a goldfish, or just shake some of these losses off. But that said, you gotta improve. You still have to keep working at it. And Gen.G are doing just that. Improvements all across, and it brings them to this huge win against Paper X right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Well,
all of our Paper X voters, we are wrong. It is time for us to bow down to big time. But let's not give him a big head, hey?
It is also time for us to toss it over to the winning interview today.
Habis itu raid.
네, 젠지 승리 축하드립니다. 서제스트 선수 승리 소감 한마디만 짧게 부탁드려요.
젠 seneng banget tuh.
승리를 정말 너무 오랜만에 며칠 만에 한지도 이제 모를 정도로 너무 오랜만에 한 것 같은데.
젠지 soalnya kan emang harus
비록 제 자신한테는 좀 만족스러운
biar komunikasinya nggak ini kan.
팀원한테 고맙다는 말 하고 싶네요.
상암에서 첫 승 아니에요?
Translation mana translation? serius loh.
젠지에서의 첫 승도 축하드립니다. 네, 앞으로도 좋은 모습 기대해볼게요. 카론 선수 모실게요. Congratulations, Gen.G, for the first win of Stage 1. Now I'm standing here with Karan now. Karan,
sorry.
Congratulations on the win. I feel like this win was a sigh of relief for the team. I mean, especially what happened after the Boom series. So what were some things that you guys were able to point out after that opening match against Boom? 카란 선수 승리 축하드리고요. 사실 정말 이번
Karan kah ininya MVP?
붐 e스포츠전 이후에 좀 많은 우려의 시선도 있었고 또 선수들이 누구보다도 가장 많은 얘기를 나눴을 것 같습니다. 좀 어떤 진단을 내릴 수 있었고 어떤 얘기들이 오갔는지부터 들어보고 싶네요.
일단은 이제 저희가 스크림에서 많이 이겨왔고 그러한 부분들이 이제 대회에서 많이 나오질 않아가지고 저희도 이제 막 게임을 하면서도 막 스크림 같지도 않고 이게 저희가 하는 바이브 그런 것도 없고 그냥 게임이 게임 같지 않았어요. 그래서 저희가 그냥 얘기를 하면서 그냥 지던 말던 하고 싶은 거 다 하고 질 때 그냥 후회 없이 지자라는 말을 했던 게 도움이 컸던 것 같습니다.
누가 그런 말을 했죠?
그건 이제 나라 형이나 이제 상범 형이나
Di
감독님이나
FM
다
pada nonton
모든
masing-masing aja ya.
저희 같이 대회를 뛰는 사람들이 다 그렇게 말을
masing-masing.
해줬던 것 같아요.
Well, yeah, we had a good flow going on with our scrims, but we just weren't able to translate the vibe
Lihat
and also the
MVP.
results onto the stage, and it felt weird. It didn't feel like us. We weren't really playing like Genji. We weren't really having fun like Genji as we do usually in the scrims. So we just went, you know what? Chuck everything, let's have fun, and let's have the confidence to go in and do whatever we want to do. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. Let's just play our best game. And mostly it was the coaching staff, Munchkin and Texter. And I guess the whole team kind of agreed to do that. And I think that kind of mindset really turned the switch on for us and allowed us to win tonight. Now, let's talk about the new starting lineup, which picked up the first win of Stage 1 for Genji here. Ash and Suggest coming into the team. Now, how's the teamwork and how do you think you guys are gelling in together? What do you think this starting lineup kind of offers for you guys? 이제 새로운 선수들이 합류를 했잖아요. 애쉬 선수도 있고 서제스트 선수도 이렇게 주전 라인업에 이름을 올리고 오늘 함께 첫 승을 거뒀는데 팀워크나 팀 합은 어디까지 올라왔는지 그리고 이 라인업의 장점은 뭐라고 생각하시는지 들어보고 싶네요.
일단 팀 합이나 그런 것들은 이제 조금씩은 올라오고 있는 것 같고 저희가 이제 스크림에서도 많이 이겼던 이유가 이제 사실 에임이 좀 좋은 편이기도 하거든요. 근데 이제 대회에서는 이제 그런 부분들이 좀 안 나오다 보니까 그런 부분들에 있어서 좀 더 집중해보자, 얘기해보자. 그리고 어차피 이제 퍼시픽 어찌 보면은 이제 애쉬 선수도 이제 신입이고 그리고 서제스트 선수도 쉬었다 온 거기 때문에 약간 저를 보는 것 같았어요. 저도 초반에 막 그렇게 잘하진 않았거든요. 근데 그런 부분들을 이제 이겨준다면 저희도 이제 우승이라는 단어를 한번 외쳐볼 수 있지 않을까 생각하고 있습니다.
Nggak expect apa-apa.
Well, yeah, it was definitely something new, and I think our teamwork and we were starting to get on the same page and starting to play things as a team. And I feel like the reason why we performed really well in terms of our scrims was because of our raw mechanics, our firepower, and we just weren't able to show that on stage. But with Ash having his debut year in Pacific Tier 1, also Suggest coming back from his long hiatus, it kind of felt like watching me last year, so I could really relate to that. And we just really focused on getting that team synergy up and getting the vibes, making sure that we were able to perform our best on stage. And I think we're on the right path over here. Now, for you, as you mentioned too, I think having to go through a roster change was something new for you. It's a new experience. You didn't have to do that last year. So, can you talk to us about what the roster change feels like for you and what this process means for you as well? 카론 선수 작년에는 사실 로스터 변화를 경험하지는 않았잖아요. 이제 올해 들어서 좀 로스터 변화를 경험한 건데 개인적으로는 좀 어떤 시간인지도 궁금하거든요. 왜냐면 좀 느끼는 바가 많을 것 같고 해야 하는 역할도 굉장히 달라진 것 같아요.
제가 이번 시즌에는 그래도 이제 계속 이 팀원들의 변화가 있고 로스터에 좀 변화가 있다 보니까 사실 좀 저도 이제 멘탈적으로 안 좋고 고생을 좀 많이 했어요. 근데 이제 계속 게임을 하다가도 좀 잘 안 되고 저도 이제 난항기를 겪는 와중에 그래도 형들이 계속 저를 믿어주고 그러고 이제 열심히 이제 할 수 있는 그런 것들을 이제 도와줘가지고 저도 이제 조금 더 게임에 집중을 하기로 하고 사실 최근에 멘탈이 좀 안 좋았어요. 왜냐면은 붐 때도 이제 제가 집중을 하나도 못해서 게임을 졌다고 생각을 하거든요. 실제로 그렇게 이제 집중이 안 됐기도 했고, 근데 이제 PRX 전에는 그 일주일간에 이제 형들이 도와줬던 말이나 저를 믿어주는 그런 모습들이 저를 좀 더 이제 집중을 할 수 있게 성장을 시켰던 것 같아요.
Well, yeah, to be honest, going through a lot of changes in terms of the roster changes and other meta and little changes as well, took a toll on my mental, to be honest. And also, you know, going back to the Boom series last week, I wasn't able to fully concentrate, and I felt that on the server as well. And really, it took me a while to get things together and get into that right mindset to make sure that I fully concentrate on what I was doing on the stage. And it was, the OG members of Gen.G, the older teammates that really helped me to hype things up and make sure that I kind of reset my mentality and play my best. So I think having that faith in each other and them having faith in me really helped me out a lot through this tough time. And my mental's in a good place, so thank God for that. And I'm really glad that I was able to pull my weight today. Now, lastly, let's talk about innovation, because I think in the beginning of stage 1, a lot of teams from different regions, they try something new. They completely reinvent themselves as well with a new style and new comps. But I feel like Gen.G, you guys are kind of micro-fixing little things, decided to kind of stick to what you guys do the best and stick to what you know. So when it comes to completely changing things up, what are the talks around that? I mean, do you guys feel like just reinventing the wheel is enough and that's what the team needs at the moment? Or do you feel like at some point you guys just need to chuck it out the window and try something completely new, innovate? 변화에 대해서도 좀 여쭤보고 싶어요. 계속해서 사실 스테이지 1이 시작하면서 여러 지역 팀들이 스타일도 많이 바꾸고 조합도 완전히 바꿔오고 있거든요. 뭐 예를 들어서 페이퍼렉스도 새로운 조합을 선보이고 있고 퍼시픽에서는 DRX도 되게 새로운 시도해보지 않았던 그런 스타일을 시도하고 있잖아요. 근데 젠지는 조금 더 좀 큰 틀은 유지하는 쪽을 선택한 것 같은데 여기에 대해서 좀 팀원들과 그리고 코칭 스태프와는 어떤 얘기를 나누고 있을까요?
일단 저희 같은 경우에는 이제 요원의 폭도 사실 이제 다 잘해야 되는 건 맞지만 그래도 이제 주력 픽 그런 것들이 있다 보니까 좀 형들이 이제 조금 어찌 보면 좀 두려워한다라고 저는 생각을 하고 있긴 해요. 근데 요즘 메타 같은 경우에는 사실 어떤 조합을 쓰든 상대 조합에 있어서 메타가 어떤 것인지를 좀 파악을 잘해야 되는 것 같아요. 그런 부분들이 있어야 좀 게임을 이기기가 쉽다?
상대에게 포커스가 좀 더 맞춘 거군요. 대처하는 방법?
네, 그렇죠. 그래서 조합 같은 경우에는 이제 너무 다채롭다 보니까 사실 그냥 조합은 그냥 조합대로 쓰는 거고 상대를 더 빨리 파악하는 게 승리 요인인 것 같아요.
Well, yeah, partly I think, I mean, it's important to have deeper agent pool and all that, but we do have players that are kind of really, really good and really comfortable on particular agents. And I think, to be honest, we're a little bit scared to take that leap into the new meta and into something completely new. But I think in this day and age, it's more important to kind of look into what your opponents are doing, and it really depends on how quickly you figure out what your opponents are doing and what you need to do to counter them. I mean, you're going to run into millions of different comps. People are running different things. They're trying everything new. So I think what's really important to make sure that you win and that you have a good momentum going is to be able to read into your opponents very well. I think that's the most important thing in this meta as well. Now, that was Munchkit. I mean, that was Karon. Thank you very much, Karon. Congratulations. And we'll see you next week. 네, 이렇게 해서 카론 선수 만나봤고요. 인터뷰 마치겠습니다. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Mirip sih, kinda. Ayo, siapa MVP-nya please? Gue kepo. Udah lama salah.
All right, Gen.G finally taking their first win with this brand new roster with two fresh rookies, or kind of rookies, Suggest and Asher. And I really like what Karen was saying there about how Gen.G approaches this. And we see two completely different mindsets between the two teams today, PaperX and Gen.G, and how they approach Gen.G is like, look, we've got players who are really good at particular agents, and the best thing to do is see what they're doing and adapt around them. And that perhaps is the key to success.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like it. We say it's that slower approach, but they really have experts. You know, we talk about Karen on this Omen, Munchkin on this Viper. These are true experts. experts of these agents, and you see it play out. They understand the situation so well. They understand the map so well, especially like we spoke about with Carol and Lotus, right? So they don't need to change too much if they're able to make it look this good, and much better Haven showing from them than we saw last week.
Yeah, definitely so, and totally agree. And I think it's kind of like a bit of a Korean approach traditionally as well, is just like mastering one thing and becoming excellent at it, and then being able to just read into what your opponent is doing is what I'm used to seeing. I'm used to seeing that structured play style from the Korean teams. I'm used to them seeing them do pretty much the same thing time and time again and just perfect it. And I think that it makes it a lot easier for them as opposed to worrying about what they're going to do. They know what they're going to do, and just focus on their opponent's game plan can be a little bit more digestible than the chaos of we're changing our comp and we're changing our roles and we have to adapt to what they're doing. You know what your win conditions are, you know what your tools are, and you can apply them to the problems that you're being asked by the other team.
Yes, and it seems that their defense side has not been figured out on the Haven, at least for Paper Rex. Gen G winning that really convincingly. Karon, our map MVP, and he mentioned in his interview he wasn't really feeling himself in terms of adjusting to the roster changes, but on top of that, he also mentioned the mental game, and we were talking about this in the green room. When it comes to two teams like this who are actually pretty damn good, what it really boils down is who has the better mental.
I mean, mental is a huge part of this game, on this top level especially. When you're playing on stage, there's a crowd, there's lights, and this is your whole career, is being able to perform in this video game. You know, it's so different from the idea of like casually playing ranked like most people do. You turn that pressure up by like 1,000, so you might see mistakes that are, you know, are uncharacteristic, or you think, why would they not clear this? And it's because the lights are so bright, the pressure builds up, and it's so big. They have to adapt and learn so much, I think is the best way I can put it. And now the pressure will only continue to mount for PRX, who are now 0-2 and need to look to turn things around if they want big playoffs.
Yeah, a rough start for Paper Rex, also needing to face against...
Okay. Thank you. Kenalin Nova Yuzin, guys. Selamat buka puasa. Iya dong. Iya, selamat buka puasa. Besok lebaran, minal aidin wal faizin, guys. Sampai bertemu kapan-kapan. Jangan buka dulu. Iya, belum. Enggak, belum. Siap-siap. Minal aidin. Oke. Mohon maaf ya, PRX kalah. Emang kamu coachnya? Mohon maaf. Oke.